Yes, the cricket bird sounds are in the music. Oh, well, looks like I'm going to have to fix the cameras anyways because Calamex
Hey.
has distorted the imagery. Kiki, you make an
I'm
excellent
just gone.
McAllen.
I'm just
Yes,
gone.
I am.
Damn,
the
I
new,
look good.
I am the
Where
new
am I?
McAllen. This is the new improved McAllen.
I don't exist. I don't
Oh.
exist.
Talk about you not existing. I get split in half. I get
Yeah,
half a
Caldove
personality.
is like a mix of realities clashing together.
Oh,
Ew.
There's like a hand, a man, and a creature.
Dude, don't call your husband creature, dude.
I called him the
Ooh.
man.
Oh my goodness.
So
I'll accept that I am a creature.
whose window am I missing? Caldove's? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in there. I'm just sideways.
Yeah.
Kiki looks different today.
And she looks like a little screen thing.
What a stud. What a stud.
Kiki got like a different body.
Pardon us, mistress. We're currently downloading you a new body.
Cool.
All right. Actually getting better at this. On occasion, I can recover quite. Gotta fix Mr. Ward. Mr. Ward, where'd you go, Mr. Ward?
I don't exist.
Mr. Ward.
That's
Oh!
that's
sound like
your-
Samwise Gamgee or something.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, hey there.
Oh,
He does exist.
all the fun stuff that we try to get done before game, but you know what?
Listen, I was tired.
I was tired.
I was
Tired.
I was tired. Don't you know? I was tired from baking all that ziti. All that ziti.
oh, you're
didn't
baking
bake.
ziti? Yummy.
Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday night, The Descendants, where we take a look at an alternate history where the universe of D&D, Cthulhu, Terra Firma, 1920s, all collide in this interesting theme that we call the Descendants. We're using 5e core rules. We're also using some Cortex character development rules. We've got a maddening system that we're borrowing from Mage the Ascension and Cthulhu, along with some other themes from Cthulhu as well. But this is kind of my homage to the fact that if you have games out there that you like pieces of, pull them together and then build a theme. And, you know, from that theme, build a campaign and create something that's kind of fun for everybody to do. My window's kind of off today. I don't know what that's from. Am I off? Am I crooked? Where should I sit? I think I'll sit. Yep.
You just wanted to give us a lovely view of the shelves behind you.
I know, right?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
There we go.
Not bad. Not bad.
There we go. I think my window is just a little off because I've been mucking around with things. I can never let things be the way that they are. So, before we start our recap, everything you need to know about the TTRPG Academy is down below in the About Us, including our family of creators. We will be adding some more panels. I have the Titans Revival panel I'll be adding soon. I have Jessie's panel I'll be adding soon when she's ready to start play testing her new game system as well. Before we get to our recap, if you want to spend Jeff Bezos money and help support us, feel free. Subscribe. Every little bit helps. We appreciate it. We are getting super close to the 250 followers where we're going to start. Once we hit that, we will give out some e-redeemable coupons for D&D Beyond that will allow you to get up to $50 worth of books, content, or single books of your choice, depending on, you know, what you choose. So we will be giving that out when we hit 250. If you join our Discord, we are giving away dice. We're giving away a monthly end of summer giveaway as well, and miniatures. Not to mention, we run a lot of games on the Discord, so feel free. Enigma and some of the others have been doing some watch parties lately. We're going to try and do some more of those because I think that's lots of fun where you can hang out and just watch something cool and make fun of each other. And as you can see, Enigma is slowly falling back asleep because his secret alternate identity is Tusk. Because Tusk always falls asleep in the games as well. It's been a busy week and it's only Wednesday. Look at these faces. Look at these charming faces. And I'm the one that's up today. I'm the one that's upbeat, which is usually very strange when it's me, because that's usually a disaster. You smile. Hold on to that thought, Kiki, because that's going to be very relevant in tonight's game. So let's recap. Let's talk about where we last left off. The team being fully integrated into the Unity Council, picking their descendants designed to assist them and evolve alongside of them. They have been fully briefed, as far as they're concerned, on certain expectations, what their responsibilities are, as well as given the tools necessary to do what they need to do. The team have received information based on their finding that a pair of agents that recovered the Twisted Eye Goblin were in a local town near the border of Mexico and near the front line of the trench war that is going on between Mexico and the United States. The border town known as Thinville. However, all communication and information regarding the town had been lost. Team made their way down to this location and stumbled upon a series of strange events. One, it seemed that whatever military encampment that was here, something had happened to that. Team also noticed a strange device on top of one of the buildings being controlled or used by two necrotic-looking creatures in tattered military uniform. There were diodes of pulses of energy coming off the roof of this building as well. The team began to investigate and try to figure out what's going on when they were suddenly swarmed by dozens of these necrotic creatures, all wearing tattered military uniforms. In the midst of the battle, it was Kiki that decided to, well, if the psychic damage was coming from anywhere, it was definitely coming from the wheel. So she managed to stop the wheel from turning, which triggered an event causing a rather large pulse of energy to bloom and expand out from the center of town. Our team, led by the heroic machine gun firing of Kaldov, until it finally jammed on a natural one. Some of the players taking some madness dice because of the effect of the psychic screams. And the crazy shit that was going on in general began to tear out of town in their armored vehicle as quickly as possible. And where we last left off, this massive energy surge not only crashed into their vehicle, but a huge tentacle-laced beast of translucent energy was seen at the last possible minute emerging from this massive bubble of energy that strikes the armored vehicle at the last second. I need everybody to give me strength saves, please.
No, not strength.
You just said advantage.
Oh yeah.
Wait, we
I
have
have no
advantage?
bonus to strength.
I don't have jack
Dear
shit
Lord.
for strength.
I know that face.
Alright.
First roll of the night. This is gonna be a good night, guys.
Oh!
Like, we don't have to say a word and we're already making saves.
Natural
Dude,
20.
I got a natural.
First
Me
roll.
too!
First
Dude,
roll
me
of the
too!
fucking night.
Nice.
Me too! I
I
use
think
this really
I'm
pretty
gonna roll
green
the
dice.
same as last week.
I
I rolled with
rolled
advantage.
I forgot
my
to pin
steel
on my
dice.
microphone and I forgot to grab my water bottle.
I got a 20, look.
Good thing I have that Irish whisper down, Pat. My microphone's like sitting over here, and the readout looked normal, and I'm like, holy crap. All right.
Wow. 2 natural 20s. That's awesome.
What?
That's a good start.
Who got a natural 20? Calamex, do you have any madness dice?
1.
You can discard that madness dice, please. Kiki, do you have any madness dice?
Yes.
You can discard 1 madness dice, please.
Okay, sweet.
McCallan, what did you get for your strength save?
I rolled a 7 minus 1, so that's a 6.
Oh, I still have a lot.
Caldo, what
I
did
don't know
you
where
get?
strength. I'm at a 14.
14. Random, what did you get?
I rolled with advantage and I got a 4 high.
Oh,
Just-
no.
Random's just not doing good.
You
at
need
all.
to switch your dice, dude.
So I just gotta see how long I could survive. All right, I
So-
got 7 total.
So with that, Kiki, you managed to hold on to some of the leather straps on the interior of the truck. You watch as Calamex grabs you by the wrist, and he kind of places his hands in the truck as well. Just as the energy bubble hits, the truck gets lifted slightly in the air and begins to tumble. Both McCallan and
Nice.
Random are ejected from the vehicle. McCallan goes flying out. Random goes flying out. Both of you take 7 points of falling damage as you are tossed out of the vehicle. Caldev, you barely manage to hold on, and you're being banged around. You take 3 points of force damage as you're holding on to the cupola of the interior of the machine gun. All of you feel the truck come to rest on its side, a heavy kind of thud sound. The energy wave passing beyond you. And all you can hear is static, silence, little triggers of magical electricity kind of running down the metal interior of the truck. What would you guys like to do?
Well, good thing I saved. I have 1 HP left.
Where could I have heard them fly out of the vehicle?
Oh, you definitely saw them.
Oh, I saw them.
They
Okay.
ejected out, yeah.
So are we on our feet? How are we landing?
You
On
and
the
Kiki
side?
are currently in the truck that's now on its side. You can see Caldub is up in the cupola of the heavy machine gun, kind of barely hanging on. You saw that Random was pitched out of the driver's side, and McCallan was pitched out of the passenger side. The truck itself is on its side.
I want to go outside of the vehicle and just look around. Did they end up getting flown out into like the minefield?
Give me a perception check, please.
Could I guide myself with this
Sure.
or no? Okay.
Put on your sunglasses.
Yeah. Put on my sunglasses. It's actually really, really good. What's a 24?
Jeez.
Looking around,
19 plus 1.
you
plus-
realize you're not near the border or the checkpoint crossing. You're still a bit of a ways from that. This area, there is no minefield postings that you can see. Random, are you still conscious?
Yeah.
You see the prone form of Random about 20 feet off to the right of the truck. McCallan, are you still conscious?
I am.
Yep. The prone McCallan off to the left side of the truck, as they are kind of far enough away from the truck. They don't seem to be any immediate danger, however. As you look towards them and beyond where Thinville used to be, you just watch this energy plume kind of pulse out, and then, and in the very center of what the town used to be, you could just see a very, very tiny pulsing light. You're about a half mile from town at this point. There's no sign of the buildings. There's no sign of anything. Just ruin and wreckage everywhere where the town used to be. But in the very center of town, you can make out a pulsing light.
I'm gonna call out to those two. Are you two all right?
Yeah.
I'm just lying there questioning my choices in life. I stare into the sky and
Just trying
wonder
to catch my
Callan!
breath.
how did I get myself
McCallan!
into this mess.
McAllen!
And I raise up my hand and kind of do this kind of motion, and
All
then
right, I
just
see.
plop back down.
I see that he's awake. I go, okay. I'm going to try to flip the vehicle onto its wheels. Just gonna put all my strength into just pushing it as hard as I
I
can.
think we should.
I'm gonna
Do you
hop
need
out
help?
of the vehicle before he does
I'm going
this.
to.
Yeah.
I'm going
yeah.
to. I'm gonna cast
gonna try to
enhance
help.
ability on
Oh,
myself.
okay, okay.
Describe how that
Enhance
looks to everybody.
For you guys that would see him, he just kind of the scales that you guys see kind of throughout his body kind of grow throughout his body into large patches where his arms just look like steel and his neck, and you can't really see anything else, but you guys could imagine the steeling up of his body, kind of like Colossus, as he pushes as hard as he can against the vehicle. Um,
Can I get up and try to help him?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You can do that with advantage, Calamix.
And I'm gonna cast levitate on the truck
Okay.
so they can just rotate it and set it back down.
That'll affect the DC. I like that. Give yourself a D6 of inspiration there, Caldev.
Cool.
I already have advantage, but okay, because
Yeah, but
Both strength.
him helping will also diminish the DC.
okay.
And it's now levitated in the air, so essentially weightless.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I can change it up to 20 feet in any direction or whatever. But yeah, I'm levitating the truck.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a plus. So that's gonna be 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19.
You watch as Caldev on the outside of the truck. You watch as a pulse of energy surrounds it, and the truck slightly elevates and twists so that the tires are face down. Random is over, kind of like guiding and helping Caldev position the truck, and Calmex, you just kind of set it down back on the road. All of you can now begin to hear dissonant sounds of wailing and screaming coming from the direction of Thinville. Every now and then you watch as an energy streak shoots up and out, and something is pulled in from somewhere, crashing into the very center of the ruined town. Kiki, there is
that's not
static
normal.
in your head.
Oh,
I get in the car.
Okay.
yeah. Let's get in.
Let's start it up.
Stand up, brush myself off, walk back over and say, yeah, well, judging by that going on in the distance, I think it's probably a good idea to get out of here.
I'll start the car, and then I'm gonna mutter a silent prayer, an orcish prayer, for the sake of like the souls being lost of my soldier friends, and then I'm gonna drive off speedily.
Car fails to start.
Aw, come on.
I don't do the prayer.
I want to look the truck as he tries to start it, and I kind of go, "Give me a second," and I walk out to the front of the vehicle, open up the hood, and my hands. I go into my bag and grab 2 blocks that you have seen it before, and I say, "Start the vehicle," and I cast Shocking Grasp on the starter.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh.
I turned the keys.
As that happens, you watch as sparks shoot out from underneath the hood, and there's a small flame that starts to form underneath the hood.
Did the car start?
Does not start.
Oh no! You're kidding me.
Not a mechanic.
Can I go
fuel
and
vehicles.
can I go check out the engine to see if there's anything I can do?
You pop open the hood, you flip it up. There's a small engine fire that's begun near where some wires are connected to this weird crystalline structure that seems to be fractured. And it seems that the wires and something else have caught on fire.
Okay. Does it look like beyond repair?
give me an intelligence check.
16.
16. No, it looks repairable if you have the parts for the crystal replacement, but you need to
Okay.
put the fire out.
Okay. I'm gonna get some like cloths. Like I'll take off like my jacket and then I'm just gonna put out the fire. Try
Okay.
to dampen it. Start a
Give-
bit of oxygen.
Give me a dex check.
21.
21.
Ooh.
You easily put the fire out. You managed to salvage the 2 wires that were connected to a copper base that normally the crystal would be adhered to, but it's fractured and tilted and come off. The crystal itself looks permanently damaged, but you're beginning to believe there might be a replacement somewhere in the truck.
Like a spare
Could be.
tire or something. Can I
The-
go to the trunk?
There's no trunk. I mean, remember, it's like a large cargo
Yeah.
van, essentially. But it's heavily plated and kind of an old school truck chassis, very kind of like military looking. There are boxes and other things in the back of the truck that you could probably start to search through. See if you can find one.
Can I look in the cargo area?
Okay. So while
I kind of ask like them to help out. Well,
Okay.
Because they're just sitting around.
while
just kinda ask
Random
them
is
to-
doing this, what are you guys doing?
I failed. I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna start looking at people's wounds.
Oh yeah, I'm dying.
I
I also
I am the dying from China.
yeah, I'm a dying Chinese person. Please help. Is the static still going on? Like, can I hear my network?
You
or-
can no longer hear a network. That is static, kind of cascading slightly in your head. While all of you are deciding what to do or working on trying to fix the truck, the persistent like voices and echoes are pulsing in and out of this space. And you can see every now and then at the very center of the ruined town a pulse of light.
Okay. I'm gonna say, Caldev, can you check the gun to make sure that it works? It seems like you knew how to handle it. McAllen and Kiki, can you guys check the tires to make sure that they're all okay and that will be operational once it gets on? Doc, you can continue to look at people's wounds, and I'm gonna just look for the crystal.
I'm gonna look at him and say, well, I don't know who you think put you in charge, but sounds like a solid enough plan. And I'll go and start inspecting and looking for any kind of damage.
Okay.
Anything that might hinder us once we get going again.
Okay, go ahead and give me investigation. McKellen.
I'm gonna climb up and look at the gun and see if there's any way to remove it. And
Okay.
while checking to see if there's anything wrong, see if like indeed if the truck is stuck, if there's any way to remove the gun
The
without damaging it.
heavy machine gun's quite large. It could be removed with tools and time. It's currently jammed from the last firefight you were just in.
I'll work on that then.
As she goes up there, I go, Caldev, if you're gonna go up there, I need you to work on your aim.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I only hit
Uh.
one person.
Yeah, I reach to my wound. I kind of like unconsciously grip my wound. Bullet hole.
Maybe
My-
2 people.
My face just kind of drops, and I look at her and I go, I hate this place.
James, I can't shoot anybody right now anyway.
Good.
So I'm gonna work on unjamming it.
What type of
With
wounds
my-
are on Kiki?
Intense.
She looks pretty ragged.
Yeah, I have
She's
1
got
HP, so-
she's got lacerations. She's got a decent amount of psychic damage as well.
Oh, yeah,
Necrotic damage. She's showing signs of many different issues.
I go into the little first aid area that we have set up for myself, and I start pulling out gauze. I start pulling out needles and a bunch of things for basically surgery on Kiki, because clearly she needs it. in a lot of ways. And I'm going to use my surgery feature on her.
Okay.
I've never been so injured before. This is kind of cool.
Oh, while he's working,
Okay.
can I kind of look at while I'm looking for the crystal? Can I also check like a little compartment in the car that I had before, where I had a bottle of some Tennessee whiskey, like a half-filled bottle.
It's still
And
there.
just take it out. And take it out, just take a little sip, and then I just hand it to the doctor and be like, if it helps.
And look at him and say, perfect. I could use these. I could use this. And I just pop it open. I start
Pouring it
putting
onto-
it on the wounds.
It's janky. That's some janky homemade whiskey. It's just like
It's like
I don't think,
198%
Alcohol.
grain
it's like
alcohol.
disgusting. Yeah, it's like definitely
Perfect.
somebody made it.
The more alcohol there is, the more cleansing it'll do.
McAllen, what did you get for investigation?
I rolled a 12.
12. The tires seem to be okay. No flats. Nothing seems torn open. Give me a wisdom save, please.
Mm.
Ooh.
That's a 9.
Do you have any madness dice?
I believe I still have 2.
Go ahead and roll one of those madness dice for me, please.
Yes, sir. Get out of there.
That is also a 2.
You hear a familiar screaming sound. You hear a small child's voice, and then you look over to see a small female child, Terran, and you can remember her from your dossier of a series of a particular serial killer that you were helping a particular agency hunt down. She's now standing about 20 feet from you, and all you can do is hear her voice look at you and go, "Why couldn't you find me? Why couldn't you be smarter, better?" As you watch and she turns towards you and half of her skull is caved in, the surgical apparatus that was used on her, you could see all the different staplings and stitchings on her body, a deformed arm on one side, a deformed leg on the other. You should have done better, McAllen. You're just not capable. And you find yourself following her towards the town.
Fun.
Random. What'd you roll for your investigation?
13.
Okay. So far, no sign of the spare part you're looking for. Calamax, how's your surgery attempt going?
I rolled a 21.
Okay. So it's successful.
Oh wait, you mean for medicine?
Yeah, for
I
medicine.
still have to roll for medicine.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, it's a 20.
What's he getting you, Kiki? Bring me a beer.
He has to go to the town. He's going to the town.
He's
right
going
now.
right now, like
He's
literally.
going right now to the town.
He's walking to the town. Come back!
How are the tires?
He's following the children of the corn. That's never
Oh
a good
gosh.
sign.
So, Calamax, you're currently working on Kiki. Random, you're trying to find these spare parts after handing the little thing of half-drunk whiskey off to Calamax. Caldev, what are you doing other than examining the... Well, you're still investigating the heavy machine gun, so go ahead and give me that roll.
I'm gonna try and unjam it if I can.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm considering, shrinking it and putting it on like a floating disc if we can't get the truck to work.
Okay.
So I'm just
You're
looking
up
at all the
there, too.
possibilities.
You're up there, so you might be able to see some wandering folks.
If I might notice wandering folks, but I am pretty focused on
That's true.
trying to unjam this machine gun.
So go ahead and give me investigation for starters.
Find investigation. I didn't print out my character after we leveled up, and so I'm trying to use the computer, and it's not fast.
Technology.
Technical difficulties.
Technology.
We're over reliant on technology.
I'm a pen and
Doesn't
paper
work.
person. Like, they can't read stuff off the computer.
No.
What'd you get?
22 investigation.
22. You managed to see where the shell, the empty cartridge was supposed to eject, is jammed the main hammer. Go ahead and give me sleight of hand with advantage.
Let's see, I have that. Wait, no, wrong character. This character. does
Baby
not-
Yoda.
Woohoo! 6.
6. With advantage, huh? It's,
Oh no, I didn't. Hold on.
yeah.
All right, that's slightly better. 13.
Their DC was a 12.
Way
You
better.
managed to pry the bent shell casing out of the side. What's your passive perception?
11.
11? Yeah, you're too
I
busy
think
working.
after-
Yeah, you're too busy working on the machine gun at this point.
I think after
I'm
a certain
really focused on getting the shell out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
operation, I think after a certain amount of time, I would ask like how the wheels are outside.
You say
So,
that
I mean,
after. Yeah, you say that after a
Yeah.
few minutes, and there's no response.
Caldev, do you see McAllen out there?
He was checking the wheels. Hold on, I've almost got the shell.
Go ahead and give
McAllen?
me. Go ahead and give me your perception check, Caldev.
Now that it's been brought to my attention.
Yeah, and McAllen does not respond to you, random. Calamex, how much hit points do you give Kiki back?
21.
Okay. Kiki gets
20.
Do
20,
I
Oh,
get
Yep. 21.
advantage on my
Awesome.
perception check?
That's like all my HP back.
Yeah,
Um,
am I helping her?
I'll say you're still up in the cupola,
Am I
like
assisting
dealing
her?
with the heavy gun. So
Oh,
yeah,
I
I'm okay
feel
with
great
that.
now.
Okay.
Thank
Much
you,
better.
Doctor.
It takes an hour for me to do this, so
Yeah,
I'm still working on
17.
it.
yeah. So
Wait,
what'd you get,
it's been
Caldev?
an hour.
17.
17. Looking just beyond the front of the truck, you can see McAllen just kind of aimlessly walking in the direction of the ruined town.
The tires are all still attached to the truck, right?
No response.
Dummy?
Yeah, they should be.
Cause he's not looking at the truck anymore.
Can I open the door and look outside?
You look outside. Kiki and Calamex are still inside, getting Kiki back up on her feet. And as you look out, you can see the form of McAllen disappearing into the horizon as he's walking further away from the truck and closer to the center of town.
Can I I'm gonna make sure that I have my bayonets with me on hand, which I
Okay.
usually keep in my on my person,
Okay.
and I'm gonna run after him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I'll go get him. I'll be right back.
So Caldev,
And I run after him.
what are you doing now that Random has taken off to go chase down McAllen?
So the machine gun is now unjammed, and as far as I know, working.
Perhaps, yeah.
As far as I know,
Yeah.
it's unjammed. It should work now, right? So I'll.
Can I yell at her to look for the crystal?
No problem. You hear random.
Yeah.
You hear random
Look
yell
for the
back.
crystal.
Look for some crystal device.
It's the
Okay.
engine, I think.
I'll start looking for what I would imagine a crystal looks like.
Give me give me investigation with disadvantage, because you have no clue what you're looking for.
Might roll higher than me still.
Looking like, for something that looks like this, I imagine.
It's just tiny.
With disadvantage, woohoo! I rolled 2 18s.
Nice.
Oh,
All right, and so we're
wow.
investigation
You-
plus 3, 21.
You find a small metal box with a image of crystalline kind of devices on it. You open up the lid. There's 3 like soccer ball sized crystals inside of it. Perhaps it's what Random's looking for.
This could be a crystal. I'll
Oh.
put it in my bag and keep looking just in case.
Okay.
Because it probably doesn't look like what I would imagine a crystal is.
No, not in your mind. Your mind was a little bit more holistic and kind of, from your perspective, a crystal should be like a slender piece of glass that was like designed for either spell components or something similar in nature. Random, you get within about 10 feet of McAllen, and as you do you have any madness dice left?
3.
You have 3. I need you to roll at least one of them without a check right now. So go ahead and roll one of them now that you've gotten closer to the source
2.
of the psychic resonance. 2. As you get near McAllen, suddenly a very familiar sergeant appears off to your right. About a quarter of his torso is blown away, and he just looks at you in that gruff, dwarven kind of voice. Laddie, you didn't do so well. Look at me. You should have done better. And the next thing you know, you just feel compelled to automatically follow him in the same direction as McAllen is going. Caldev, you find the crystals, and as you pull these crystals with the box to look for Ward, you're now watching as both Random and McAllen are just aimlessly walking towards the center of the ruined town.
Is it obvious then that Random is not following McAllen?
He's walking along.
As far as I knew, he was going after McAllen.
Right, he's no longer running. He's just kind of like casually walking aimlessly, and he's more alongside McAllen than behind him.
You guys, Calamex, Kiki, I think we lost the other two.
What?
What do you mean we lost the other two?
They're wandering off towards the town. Random told me to look for crystals. I may or may not have found them. I don't know, but he went off after McAllen, and now they're walking together.
You let the one who almost went crazy go off by himself.
He told me to look for the crystals. For a
Again,
crystal. I don't know if this is it, but...
You let the one that almost went crazy off by himself.
Do you think you can levitate them back?
I didn't do anything. How far away are they?
Do you think you can levitate them back this way?
They're about 100 feet away at this point. They're
I
not
don't
moving.
Think any
they're not
of
moving
my
at,
abilities.
Yeah, they're not moving at a quick pace.
Can bring them back if we get close enough. I can try and entice them or charm them, but I think at that point we should probably just grab them.
He says, "You two stay here because you're both very messed up. Those two were very messed up."
Yeah, Caldev stayed in the cupola the whole fight.
I have no madness and I'm barely damaged.
Yeah.
I'm actually in good shape.
I look at Caldev.
Killed me a lot.
I look at Caldev and say, "You have 0 aim, and you're the reason why people are injured. So I want to hear nothing from you."
You know what? I think we should stay together.
Well, okay, but they're that way.
Kiki, there's a burst of static in your head, and then a voice partially kind of cutting through, but staticky. Miss Psychic burst.
Oh, great.
Miss, we are at Lysing. Interfere.
Ooh, it's a psychic bullshit that's hindering my connection. Okay, I'm just gonna say, let's all go and try to force them to come back.
Random, I'm gonna kill you.
Get out of here. Look at Random, he's so far away.
I look at Kiki and I say, "Ma'am,
Get
Kiki."
closer to the madness.
I look at Kiki and I say, "Look, with your intelligence, apparently that you have, you should fix the vehicle while I'm gone."
Okay, fine.
And Caldo, Miss I'm Not Hurt, should fix all the things that are on the truck that are just everywhere.
Fixed, and I think this is the thing that Random wanted me to look for. I might be able to help.
Let's
get
put that in the thing in the front.
I'm pretty good with stuff in the mind.
So Calamix, as you walk away from the vehicle to chase down Random and McAllen, I mean, the conversation coming from under the hood is both terrifying and interesting at the same time. There's just wires being unplugged. Kiki, you're kind of mumbling to yourself, how does such a rudimentary species even get around? You know, it just, where's
this
the...
is like
Where's the fission engine and the radioactive, isotope hover device? You're just like, ugh, wires?
It's
They
like
still
the
use
equivalent-
wires?
It's like the equivalent of otters using rocks to like break open things.
Calamix, all of you could still hear the dissonant tones, with the exception of Random and McCallan. Calamix, as you begin to go in their direction, it's quite easy to catch up to them. You're still roughly a half mile from the center of town, but you're getting closer to like more of the blasted ruins of the edge of town. And at this point, you can also begin to hear way off in the distance the shelling that's increasing near the front line. Every now and then you can see an airplane kind of go by. The sounds of distant warfare are playing out as well. But these dissonant whispers are kind of echoing around you as well. You do not have any madness dice, correct? Because you discarded that last one.
Amazing.
You feel a psychic pulse of energy weighing in on you. Go ahead and give me a wisdom save really quick. Somebody's car alarm's going off.
24.
24.
Ooh.
You manage to easily maintain your focus. You feel like these psychic explosions of energy are trying to kind of like penetrate into your psyche. This allows you to maintain focus, and there's a very thin, transparent layer of energy still here that has taken on some weird kind of monstrous form. And at the very base of this monstrous form is this gateway that you could see just kind of hovering there in the middle of the ruined town. You come up to where Random and McCallan are they're not blinking, they're just staring and walking very slowly. And that's when you begin to notice something else. Off to your right, there's now dozens of individuals just blindly walking towards the center of town. And then across you see more. There seems to be just dozens and dozens of people staggering and ambling towards this location. Vacant
Yikes.
look on their faces. McCallan and Random don't even notice you.
Do I think that this could deal with the creature that came out of the ground?
Give me an insight check, because you're not even really sure if the creature actually came out or if it was just an image of one, a psychic echo. You're still trying to come to terms with that.
That's a second natural 20.
What?
So you have
Blessed.
you have no madness dice to discard. So go ahead and take a D6 heroic dice. Go ahead and throw that.
That's a 6.
A 6.
So that's a 30. If with my insight, that's a 34.
Yeah, so you suddenly begin to put some pieces of this puzzle together, this amazing piece of insight that just kind of comes together. You realize that this gateway is a psychic echo. You don't have direct knowledge of it, but that creature you saw was an echo of a psychic energy blast of a gateway that was opened. And the creatures were affected by this psychic gateway, and whatever the military was attempting to try to do to maintain this gateway, it obviously backfired on them, and the psychic resonance of the gateway had corrupted them and torn away their flesh and turned them into something else, and they were maintaining whatever was being used to keep this gateway open. When Kiki closed it, something was trying to get through, and it closed in on that psychic echo, causing this psychic blast to emanate outwards and create this destruction. There is this sudden realization that closing this gate is important.
That's right, the sudden realization this is all Kiki's fault.
All I could think is humans always experimenting with creations that they don't understand.
I know, freaking humans, right?
And since I can, I see Calamac. I see. You know what? I look at them and I go, "Sorry, guys. You don't seem to be paying attention to me." So I make my claws come out of my fingers and I jab them in the sides with my clawed hands.
McAllen and Random, you both take 1 point of piercing damage, and you're suddenly knocked out of your stupor. You collapse to the ground, puking up bile and blood, and you have control of yourselves again. The visions that you experienced are gone, but McAllen and Random, go ahead and take at least one more madness dice each, please. Calamax, you look at now McAllen and Random that have stopped moving forward. They're prone. Pools of blood and vomit just in front of them.
Oh,
I just grab them both by their collars and I go, "You can't stay here." And I start pulling them back towards the truck, just dragging them.
Okay. Eventually, all of you make it back to the truck in time to see Caldev and Kiki making another attempt to try to fix the vehicle.
I think that wire was actually important. You should probably plug that one back in.
Puff of smoke.
I feel like we should do some intelligence rolls or something. Like, come on.
I may be
rolled a
smart, but I have
3 on
no
my
idea how to fix
madness
this
die,
trap.
by the way.
No,
Well, you
Like
just
a
get
puzzle.
No,
one.
you
Yeah,
just
you-
got another one.
You don't need to roll it. You just get another one added to your
Oh, I
pool.
get another
yeah,
one?
added to your pool.
Oh. As we're both being dragged behind the Calamex's back, we're like both being dragged. I just look over at Malik McAllen and say, "You doing okay, brother?"
I'm just questioning, like, every choice
Everything.
I've made in this entire adventure.
You and me both,
Like-
brother. You and me both.
I should have quit a long time ago.
I offer him a cigarette while we're being dragged.
What? You're just smoking on
I
his
very,
back.
very eagerly take it.
I look at
I'm
both of
just
you and I say,
like
"You guys are good enough to
scratching my
take."
face.
I look at both of you and I say, "You guys are good enough to share cigarettes." Stand up!
To
Hey,
be fair,
man.
you could be lying down.
Listen,
and
Doc.
smoking, so.
I didn't ask you to drag me. I don't even know what the hell just happened in the last. Felt like nothing to me, but I'm assuming probably 10 minutes or so.
I look at him and I go,
Peaceful
"Yeah,
stand
you're
from
right.
dragging
You didn't
you."
ask me to drag you." And I just let him go.
What?
Oh.
Can we just fix this car already and get out of here?
We run
Okay.
back to the car together.
Okay. So who's trying to fix the car at this point? Kiki, go ahead and give me
I'm
an
helping.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Kiki, give me an insight check with advantage because Caldev is attempting to help.
Cool. Okay. Okay. Unnatural 20.
You see the shattered crystal. It looks a lot like the one that Caldev handed you. You just kind of, you pull out the shattered one, put in the new one, place the two wires back at the copper base, kind of tape them down. And the minute you do that, the engine comes back to life, just starts humming on its own.
I'm gonna put the box that had the
Nice.
other two shapes in my bag.
Okay.
Nice.
I want to check the
Let's
road
go.
surface and look up the road and make sure that we're not in for any surprises.
Give me a perception check.
That's a 12.
As you examine the road, you watch as a human eye forms in it, blinks at you and disappears.
Fuck.
Like a big one?
We all saw this? Wait.
Oh yeah, how big? No, only.
Okay.
Only
I was writing
McAllen
notes
saw
about
it.
this. That's
Nope.
my bag. Okay.
Because he's like examining, looking up and
Eye,
down.
I'm just imagining it's my mind playing tricks on me again. I'm like, well, looks like hopefully it should be smooth sailing. Let's get the hell out
Okay,
of
yes,
here.
let us leave, please. I'm getting a headache.
Okay.
I tend to
I
do that to
just
people.
point up to the gun. I say, Cal, you're my boy. You found the crystal. Very good. Thank you. And then I'm gonna just hop in, and then I'm gonna try to start the car, and then
It was already
out of there.
running, so you grind it a bit.
I jumped through the window.
I look at the group as everybody starts piling on, and I say, "There's a gateway in that city."
Is it important?
Yes, hundreds of people are walking towards it, and I'm pretty sure we need to close that.
So how?
Don't know. I don't know.
We're-
I
Okay,
don't.
Right now
don't.
we're driving away from the city, right? Should we be going towards?
Well, we're not
Yeah.
driving. We're not driving yet. We're just.
You
we
want,
just
me
got
to
in.
you want me to turn around?
Should we drive towards the gate that you say must be closed?
I.
Are you wanting to stop the people from getting there, or do something to the gate itself?
Right, because we could physically
Because
stop.
100 people's a lot, but
It's
Yeah.
it's hundreds of people.
Oh, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure both the military forces on both sides are getting drawn into this, and whatever
Well-
just exploded out was some sort of psychic energy.
Well,
And-
closing a gate can't be that difficult, right?
I'm gonna pull out my dice
Little
phone and
padlock.
dial
You
4522.
just push the gate closed.
I look.
Yes?
I'm just looking at Kiki and I go. I feel like you told me you're a wizard, and I feel like you should know how difficult magical portals should be.
Oh, it's a portal. You said a gate.
The gateway, it's a portal, it's something. It's opening up to a different realm of reality that's letting something in.
well,
What's-
that's how we all got here. Maybe it's not bad.
I look at her and I go, with what just happened, you think it's not bad?
Okay, so Calamex, you're saying that we should go to this gate and attempt to close it, right?
I don't know. I'm thinking we should, out of the greater good,
Okay, let's go. This will be.
but I'm also in survival instincts of you're all very messed up, except for you and you. These two are clearly messed up.
I take
Well,
Well,
offense
then,
to that.
how about those who haven't had encounters go to close the gate?
But
I'm gonna look around for the bottle of whiskey that I gave the doctor.
Did you just make
It's
a
just
close
sitting next
encounters
to my bed.
reference?
Go.
I'm calling the NSA and consulting
Did
them.
the NSA exist?
Well, that's where those
it's the
people
beginnings of
go.
it, not the
Yeah.
actual.
Okay,
NSA.
I was gonna say like I don't know if it's like.
It's not called the NSA. It's just a government. It's a secret government agency.
Right.
I'm calling the secret government agency with my dice phone.
For you, McAllen, it's always been referred to as the agency. It's never been really given a specific face. It was actually formed and brought together when the newcomers came across over that
Actually,
10-year
no
period.
cell phones. You can't call them. Does our?
Yeah, you gave me one.
Oh, you have a
He
cell
has
phone?
cell
right
phone.
now?
He has we have the cell phone technology inside the vehicle.
But we have to be
Ah.
near
We already
Like
are.
satellite?
We already are.
thing, but we are near a city, so I think that would work.
Well,
As long
Okay.
as long as the lines haven't been knocked out.
you have a radio phone that you can hook up wires to a telegraph system or a telephone pole that'll allow you to attempt to make a call.
We have to find a pole.
Gotta find a
But
way
there
to get
be-
it
there
all
would
hooked
be
up.
poles. There will be a poles in the city, yeah.
Remember, it's more of a rundown kind of border town.
Okay.
Also,
I'm
the
just-
city just blew up.
McAllen, go ahead and give me a perception check really quick.
Let's see here. That is a 21.
Nice.
Ooh,
Looking
nice.
at where you're currently at, are you guys still moving or have you stopped to figure out what to do?
I think we stopped.
I think we're trying to figure out what to do because we're
Okay.
not sure what direction we should be driving.
One of the steel shutters, you kind of throw open the steel shutter, McAllen, you look out. There's a demarcation of destruction where it looks like the energy pulse finished, and there's a shattered telephone and electrical pole on one right side, and then nothing on the left side. The shattered side continues on off into the distance. There does seem to be at least some wires still connected. You're just not really sure the condition that they might be in.
So I point in that direction and say, well, I think that might be our best bet. I think
Okay.
we're going to have to call in some reinforcements.
I agree.
drive over to it. I drive
Sure.
over to the pole.
Okay.
Can I
Make your
start
way over.
working on McAllen as we're driving to this thing?
Yep.
Because McAllen's fucked up too.
Go for it.
I go, hey, Doc, you got any morphine?
I do.
hurting.
I do have that. Give me a moment.
I say, wait, you can I have some too?
After you finish driving, I'll give you some.
So as you guys get near the pole, and Calmax, you're working on McAllen, suddenly, Kiki, there's a burst of static. As you guys cross over the demarcation of where the line of the explosion occurred, and then suddenly the network is back in your head. Mistress, why are you not responding? Mistress.
16.
I'm
To
responding
McAllen?
in my head and saying, clearly, if I'm not responding, there's interference and I can't hear you. Duh.
Mistress, there has been a psychic explosion of unregisterable amount of energy. You need to get out of there now, unless you have the ability to isolate and close off whatever has caused this. There are thousands of individuals converging on that location.
Can you analyze anything that may help us close it? And try to what do you call it? Give us the percentage of whether it would be safer to escape versus the percentage of us.
You want
being able to
analytics?
close it. Yeah. Yes.
Tell us what we need to roll to kill this guy right
It's a
now.
wizard
Yes, like
spell
shit.
for that.
Yes. Like.
So the first thing that happens is your ocular download or ocular upload. As the network begins to scrape at your memory of what happened. Takes a couple minutes. There's a bit of you guys watch as Kiki's like twitching and there's a weird kind of like shuddering in her eye. And then Kiki, you hear the network, one moment, mistress, we are currently analyzing the upload from your ocular link. And then there's a hesitation. At the very center of the gateway, there is a trigger for the portal. It would appear that when you turned it off, that caused the energy maintaining the portal link to be stable to collapse. There is an ability, an emergency failsafe that whoever found this portal put into place. It'll release a small explosion, causing the portal to implode in on itself.
So how do I do that?
I'm not aware of the how. I can only tell you what we've analyzed and what is there.
I stab a thing of morphine in your neck.
Ah!
In
And I
Kiki's
start
or
rapping
in Kiki's
No,
or McAllen's?
in random's neck.
Oh, okay.
I was like, who are you stabbing right now?
In
Everybody.
I look longingly and
You
jealously.
get morphine. You get morphine.
No, I wrap McAllen's wounds in like gauze and in different medications, and then random. I just go over to him and I go, "You've been through worse," and I stab him in the neck with morphine.
Oh.
I just
As he's
slowly,
driving.
quietly have a tear to myself.
I think we should try to close the portal.
Yeah.
You guys are now
Yeah.
parked alongside the telephone pole.
It was a sudden decision.
Yeah.
Well,
Red is just like,
yeah.
I don't feel anything anymore.
Calamex was saying there's a portal that should be closed. So, you know.
I'm sitting there saying I agree. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm already for this.
Okay. Well,
As you
once.
pull up to the telephone pole to a stop, looking out, you can see dozens of people still making their way in the direction of the center.
Call your agency or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm hooking up to try and
And after
call the
that, we're
agency.
gonna go straight. Let's go straight for the portal.
Go ahead and give me a wisdom check, please, McAllen.
Could I give him guidance?
Sure.
So you add a D4 to that wisdom check.
If random wasn't high, it could probably even help.
Let's see. That is a 7.
A 7.
Oh my gosh.
The
dude.
problem is,
rolling
as you stare at the
terrible
pole,
tonight.
is you're not sure which wire is electrical, and you're not sure which wire is telephone or telegraph. They're badly damaged enough that it's kind of a 50% up in the air choice.
I think I've been too disoriented from getting tossed around and hypnotized and everything else from this. I look at it and I look at Calamex and I say, Doc, I can't see left from right. I can't tell what this is. Do you have any ideas?
I'll look at it.
Give me an investigation check, Calvex, with disadvantage.
Okay. I'll guide myself as well.
Okay.
He's distracted because I keep touching his arms.
Like, so pretty. So pretty.
Rolled, first roll was
Oh, what
second one was a
nice
14.
arms.
So 12 plus 1 is 13, plus 4 is
17.
13 plus 4, 17.
Yeah, oddly enough, you have treated one of Capone's phone repairmen, as he's sometimes called, and you have some basic understanding of how this works. And you point to McAllen the wire that you feel is the telephone wire.
Now or never. And I pick it up
Okay.
and I jam it into the receiver.
Okay. Pick it up. You coil it on to the receiver coil. You pick up the receiver, and there's a very, very faint buzzing sound. It sounds like a dial tone.
I dial 4522.
As you dial it, there's just a momentary pause and then a ring. The 3 rings goes off, and then a female voice picks up. Yes, how may we direct your call?
I'm looking for the agency.
Black box 1 or black box 2?
What? Like the boxed wine?
No.
I say box 1.
Box 1. Hold 1 moment, please. This is box 1. Who is this?
This is McAllen, the detective.
McAllen, you're not field active right now. Where are you?
We're outside of Thinville. There seems to be some kind of activity going on.
Oh, you're in a world of hurt, my friend. We can't get into that area. Something weird is going on there. How are you communicating with us, and why is a non-active field agent calling box 1?
We just got out of the area.
Who's we?
We were
Wow.
some friends of mine and I were on an investigation journey to look into some happenings that were going on across the border when coming into Thinville, we were attacked Unfortunately, it appears that a gate was opened and it took out the entire area. We're not sure how to address this, but we're pretty sure that gate needs to be closed.
Box 1 has a dossier on that gate. That gate was being used as an attempt to smuggle individuals in and out of the border region of Mexico. We were using it to find high-ranking political individuals within Mexico, kidnap them, and then bring them over into the border. We had heard it had been compromised over a couple days ago. We were about to send a unit in. Are you requesting a unit now?
I'm requesting whatever help we can get.
They're all gonna die.
Box one confirms. McAllen, you are field agent active. The unit will be there in less than 24 hours. You're free to stand by or prosecute at your own will.
Understood.
And you guys watch as he hangs up the receiver, disconnects the wire.
Okay, let's go.
Couldn't we call our people as well?
The German lady.
Sure.
Okay.
Guys, tell me what you want to do. Currently, there's hundreds of people drifting towards this gateway, and it's been a while since this has happened. And then suddenly, every few minutes, there's a flare of energy.
Ugh.
And with each flare of energy, a psychic scream that pulses out.
Okay, I think we need to hurry if we're gonna.
Looking through the German woman's spell book to see if there's any psychic spells.
Ooh, yeah, psychic.
I never gave back her spell book.
She does have some psychic resonance spells of protection. You do actually come across one that looks quite interesting. You get the feeling that if you had a little bit more time and studied it, you could probably cast a protection spell against this psychic resonance effect.
What if I helped her? Because I'm a wizard too. What if we both work together?
If we are waiting on people to join us, I might have something that would help us.
Oh yeah, cool.
But I need a little time to sort it out. Something that would help protect all of our minds.
While they discuss this, can I kind of drive over to the nearest, like, person walking towards the portal?
Sure, you could if you want to. It's going to be like driving through a crowd eventually.
I just want to get like the outer skirts, like the whoever is like on the outmost.
You
skirt.
actually don't have to drive very far. You could just look out your window, and there's maybe 2-3 dozen individuals of various types of terra firma, including some newcomers, all wearing American military garb, along with some Mexican military garb as well. They look very kind of like blank in the face. They look like they have no control over themselves. They're just steadily walking by. Eventually, 2 or 3 walk right by the armored vehicle. They don't even seem to notice you.
Can I open the door and just punch one?
Give me a D20.
Non-lethal.
Yeah.
I'm going to be studying this spell to see
Nat
how.
20.
Nat 20. Go ahead
Dang.
and discard a madness dice.
Ooh.
Nice. I have
Nat
so many
20 night.
nice dice.
Nat
No-
29.
No kidding.
You had a lot of so many nat 20s tonight.
With that, you quickly punch one of them in the jaw. And as you make a connection with their jaw, and they just kind of stop for a minute, limp. And as the one turns to look at you, you notice at least 30 of the others all turn to look at you at the same time. And there's a momentary pause, and then a huge burst of psychic energy, and then all 30 of them turn away and begin to walk back in the direction of the gate.
Okay, so the one that I punched, it didn't wake him up.
Didn't seem to have the same effect that Calamex described to both you and McAllen.
Watching random, I'm gonna try to hinder the people walking as well. Can I try to cast sleep on them?
You form the spell in your mind, you cast it, and nothing happens.
Ugh, come
Um,
on.
Can I, as a doctor, do I see, like if they're dead, if they're like on the brink of death, type of thing?
Give me a medicine check.
The Kiki, come
that's
help
a
me look at this.
27.
Okay, I'm gonna help Kaldov with the. I'm gonna help study it
spell.
with Kaldov and try to help her with it.
Okay. Calamex, what do
Yes, we
you?
are both-
So Kiki and Kaldov, both of you give me intelligence checks with advantage. Calamex, what'd you get?
27.
They seem to be uninjured. Although it's strange, a couple of them look like they had suffered what should be mortal bullet wounds, but they are walking as well towards the center of this location. It's as if they were wounded during whatever fight they were in and then suddenly became affected by this psychic pulse. It's strange. Some look fine, some don't look fine. You look beyond and you can just now see ant-like trails of people just coming out of the border region of the trenches as well as the supposedly safer interior region near some of the major cities. So there are people being affected as this pulse just begins to echo out.
Arcane or
21.
intelligence?
Okay. So what'd you get, Caldev?
Was it arcane or intelligence?
Intelligence, for starters.
21.
21. Kiki, what'd you
Me
get?
too!
All right.
Twinsies!
Wow.
So both of you give me Arcana checks with advantage.
Oh, Arcana checks. Okay. Let me see.
23.
23.
Gee.
With advantage, huh? Ooh.
I still haven't gotten my natural
okay.
20 yet tonight. Hopefully I get it when it
26.
counts.
26.
I believe in you. You'll get it.
I got 26.
So, between the two of you, you managed to spend about 5 minutes while Calamex is out there studying these individuals walking by, randoms out there. Between the two of you, you figure out that the one spell she has written down is actually a level 1 spell of psychic defense.
Ooh.
It basically allows you to create a 15-foot bubble that is centered on you as the caster. And when you cast it, it renders you resistant to any psychic damage and immune to charm effects.
That's
It's
really
taking me a
good.
minute. I'm having to write with crayon. I couldn't find my pens.
Oh, crayon. Crayon.
And like the big fat
Immune.
crayons too. Like not.
Okay. Can we try to cast it together or something?
Certainly try. The arcane
What's the
glyphs.
other one? You said there was two.
Psychic resistance to psychic
to
damage,
Immune-
and an immunity
charm.
to charm.
To charm. You said there was two spells though, and that one of them was the level 1 psychic defense.
I thought it was.
Is that just to?
No, it's
the
just
5
one.
minutes?
It's just the one spell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Can we try to do it? Let's do it. Because this psychic stuff is totally messing us up.
Well, we should probably. I mean, we should look at it and study it so that way, if we decide to move closer to the portal, we're prepared to cast it.
Okay.
So we'll study the spell so we can learn it.
Do I see anyone in a high-ranking uniform from the American side?
Give me a perception check.
Wait, is this getting both
20.
Americans and Mexicans
Yes.
on the border? Oh gosh. Okay.
What'd you get, Calamex?
20.
20. You watch as a lieutenant staggers by you.
And
Can I
it's
go
not really-
outside?
Well, actually, I go up to the lieutenant. Does he have any mortal injuries on him?
He looks uninjured. He's carrying a small pistol in his right hand and a whistle in his left hand.
I I go up to him specifically, and I'm going to emanate. I don't know. Spare the dying on him in his head.
As you cast it, you feel the arcane energy just dissipate the moment you cast it.
Oh yeah, magic doesn't work on these guys. Because I tried to sleep on them, nothing happened. As I'm trying to learn the spell, can I talk to Ragnar?
Give me a charisma save.
Can I try something? Can I open
18.
the door?
Okay. Yeah.
And
Get a little
just carry
closer. I
the-
can't hear you.
Can I open the car door and just carry the lieutenant and just throw him into the car and close the door?
Give me an athletics check.
Nat 3, baby.
Doesn't budge. Easily resists you. Kiki, you hear the familiar chuckle of Ragnar in your head. Why don't you just go do it? Why are you back here waiting? Just go shut the gate.
Well, we don't know how to shut the gate.
The other voice in your head told you how.
Okay, can you like remind me of that while we we go try
the
to
network
do it?
The network reminded you that or told you that during its analysis that there is a failsafe device that's near the gate that was designed to cause it to implode.
What does this failsafe device look like though?
I mean,
You'll
the
know
network
it
wasn't
when you
really
see it.
sure. I mean, it's there. But the network's having difficulty analyzing the device itself.
You know what, Ragnar? I agree with you. Let's go do this. And I'm just gonna tell everyone, you know, there might be a failsafe device near the gate. Let's just go for it. Either that or this world might end. I don't know.
Well, if it does, standing here isn't going to save us any more than standing closer.
Exactly. That's why we should try to stop it at least. Right?
Yeah, I'll get in the car.
Let's go!
The Calex is what?
As I see the car moving. Interesting. That just happened.
So McCallum and Calamex. McCallum, you're packing up the receiver. Calamex, you were examining the lieutenant. Random Caldev and Kiki are now driving away.
Oh no, I wasn't driving away. I was just getting in the car to kind of
Oh, okay.
waiting for people to load.
You
But
can
it's
hear
so much
Ren.
funnier the other way.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
I
No, that's
imagine
mine.
it cartoon style
Can I
where
re-
we grab
I drove
everyone
off.
in.
I'd
Yeah,
like to
And then
on
we
my
go.
I'm
decision.
going with you're driving off.
Uh-huh. I just speed off.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with they just drove off, and we're just like,
Yeah.
Burn
No,
tires
I-
and everything.
And Calamex, as you look over, you're kind of like trying to figure out what's going on. You just hear this loud explosion as you watch this plane crash into the ground. There's
What?
you watch
Probably won't make it
bodies
very
kind
far.
of tumble away.
Oh dear Lord.
And then you watch these blasted and burned bodies begin to stand up and go back to walking. And in the very center of the ruined city, in the ruined
What?
town, you can just see flares of psychic energy as you're beginning to guess that these are people crossing over whatever that psychic barrier is.
What the fuck is
To
going
start
on
ritual
right now?
casting this psychic defense.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is it for group or do we have to cast it individually?
You can cast it. You're the
15
You're
foot
the-
bubble as well.
yeah, you're the
What-
target,
Yeah.
so it's an AoE.
15-foot radius.
Yes, 15-foot radius.
I write that
Okay.
down.
Yeah, that'll get all of us for
So that's
sure.
30 feet.
Well,
Yeah.
all of us if we all get in the truck as it's driving away.
yeah, most of you driving
Can
away.
wait,
Me and
before we drive away,
Me and McAllen are just looking at the truck.
before we drive away, can we make sure we grab
McAllen's
everybody
like,
inside?
McAllen's looking
I
at
know,
this.
right?
I
McAllen's
look at
looking at.
Calamex and I say, well, I guess we're waiting for reinforcements.
No,
then you,
can we try to grab them in here before we
I look
drive?
back and I say,
I
I
don't know.
think
I like the
are we
canonic
forgetting
you guys
anybody?
left us behind.
No!
Are we forgetting anybody?
They can come after us.
and McAllen, you look
Car
past.
is a lot quieter.
And McAllen, you
Okay,
look past.
whatever.
You
We're
look.
working on the spell.
McAllen, you look past Calamex's shoulder at the crashed plane and go, I really hope that wasn't the unit.
That was severe.
So
But
the
you
car,
recognize
drives
the
off.
markings on the side of the plane. It's a American military plane. You don't think that's what they would have shown up in.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
car
Two-seater.
drives off, and then like 50 feet away, it like abruptly brakes.
Oh, and then reverse.
No reverse. I just stick my arm out. Hurry it up!
I'm gonna stick my head out too and say, guys, come on! What are you doing? We need to close that gate.
You guys
Colin,
drove
this is-
off. No,
This
you
was
guys
your
drove off.
idea.
You guys straight up drove off. No.
This was your idea,
No,
Calamex.
I don't remember this. I don't remember just driving off.
Random, can you reverse a little bit? I think they're tired.
All right, you
Alright,
bag of
alright.
cats. What are you doing?
I reverse and go back to them.
Once we get
McAllen,
close
Calamex,
enough
you just
back
watch
to
the
them,
truck just pull up right beside you guys.
Get
I'm
in!
starting the cast, so that way by the time, in theory, we get to the town.
Right.
it'll have been-
Yeah. I'm
It's
going
gonna
to,
be
like,
10
if I
minutes,
can
okay.
reach them, I will literally
And
try
the
to
and the
grab
pro-
them.
and the
Me too.
protection
No, I'm like
the
I'm like
protection
8 feet tall.
the
Yeah,
protection
I'm pretty
will
sure me
the protection
McAllen
will
are
last
three
up to
times.
an hour.
and McAllen are pretty. I'm pretty sure we're like 3 times your size. Kiki.
I will still try my very best to get y'all in here.
Here's my lovely.
I just
ri-
look
writing of
at
the spell.
Calamex. I
This
kind
is
of
a-
like face palm, and I
Guys,
go,
get in here.
well,
It's the end of the world. You gotta get in here, or this. Come on.
Don't make me levitate
well, I
you.
guess
Come on.
she has a point.
Yeah.
Come on,
Get
Doc.
in here. This is
Let's
it.
get this
This
shit
is
show
the
on
end.
the road.
Let's go.
Do I have cocaine?
Not on your person, no. That is in the other house. That
I
You
can
have
light
morphine in you?
You do have
I light
morphine.
yeah.
You do
but,
have
you know,
morphine in your veins right now.
And whiskey.
Sometimes you
Ready for
need
your
to mix cocktails.
Nope. Nope.
I just light my cigarette and then once
But
everybody
you
gets
do
in, I'll drive
remember
off.
something that you love very much, and you reach underneath the driver's seat to see if it's still there. It's still there as you pull out this thing called a Coca-Cola.
Oh dang.
Can I go to the weapons locker while we're driving?
Yeah,
Can I
absolutely.
fix? Can I fix Tommy gun?
Or broadsword?
Oh, it's broadsword.
Great sword.
Great
Great
sword.
sword. Great
Yeah.
sword. Can I fix great
You
sword?
can certainly attempt to.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to fix great sword.
Okay, so you're working on
Thanks,
that. Random, you are driving. Kiki, McAllen, and Caldev, what are the three of you doing while you guys are making your
Is
way?
it called of casting the spell?
I'm ritual casting.
You're
the psychic
ritual
defense spell.
casting. So Kiki and McAllen, what are you two doing?
I'm gonna help her because we just learned it. So
Difficult
I'm
to help
using
her.
the binoculars to kind of survey the area around the gate to see what kind of obstacles we're going to be up against.
So,
what things that we need
As
to be
you
paying
pop up,
attention to.
McAllen, and you immediately start surveying the area around you. Nearest the truck, you watch as one of the individuals walking suddenly stops, falls to the ground, and you watch as their body shreds. Just comes apart. Meat chunks and bone get thrown everywhere as you watch this spindly leg come out of its back and another spindly leg come out of its back. You watch a snake-like head protrude out of its spine. The remnants of its human face still there, but it turns to look. Then you watch another one and another one and another one as these shamblers begin to pop out, and there are now at least a half a dozen of them racing towards the speeding truck.
what?
When I see them on like the rear view mirror, I just point to the gun. I say, "Gun, man, the gun!"
Okay, let's cast quickly so they don't get the psychic defense.
That's gross as hell.
McAllen?
Yeah.
McAllen?
It looks like we have some company.
You guys feel something slam into the back of the truck.
I'll try and get on the gun and start shooting at them.
Okay, you
I
get up
try
on the
really hard to
cupola
not-
and you watch
not
as
feel
one of the
any boat.
creatures has clung onto the back of the truck. Its head comes up and over. Go ahead and give me a d20. Add your dex modifier, whatever proficiency modifier for your to hit class is.
Oh no.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh.
You guys hear this loud clang. The hammer of the heavy machine gun just slams down. Half of a cartridge smacks out, and a bent shell casing is in the main hammer of the heavy machine gun. McAllen, how many madness dice do you have left?
I have 3.
I need you to roll at least one of those, please.
At least one. You could choose to be more mad.
That is a 2.
2. You're suddenly
Zero
stunned with fear as the creature crawls over the top of the truck, and you watch as its face just comes down to try to bite into you. That is a
can
14 to hit you.
No.
That will just hit.
Okay.
What?
All of you watching as McAllen just is quivering with fear. You see this shadow and then this trail of blood begin to descend from his neck-like area. Something that's bitten down into him for 18 points of piercing
Telemex,
damage.
get the gauze! Get the gauze!
Still concentrating on this spell.
Yeah.
You guys are concentrating on a spell.
Actually, Caldov,
I am focused.
Caldov, I need you to make a con save, please, to maintain concentration as this is going on.
Can I assist
Random,
her?
you feel, bam, you feel something hit you from the side. You can now see one of the creatures clinging onto the side of the truck as it's making its way up towards the driver's side seat.
Can I help her or nah?
Of all the times to roll my natural 20.
Fuck yeah!
Hey.
Do you have any madness dice?
No.
You take a heroic dice,
What?
so you now have a d6.
Wow! I
Um,
have so many madness
and
dice, guys.
and you can keep that heroic dice because you don't need to use it right away. However, you can choose to discard the heroic dice, and the magical bubble immediately starts working, and it will cause a resonance reaction to the creatures that will dislodge them from the truck.
Yay!
Let's do that.
All right.
Nice.
Cross out my notes.
So as you use your heroic dice and you discard that, all of you watch this blue shimmer emanate out from Caldov and begins to surround and move with the truck. You watch McAllen as the creature just bit into you, suddenly just wails in pain and disengages and leaps off the truck. As Random, you look to see the one crawling up the side, and it just kind of jumps and disengages from the side of the truck, tumbling on the ground as you guys are now enveloped in this blue whitish light.
Can
It's
I
beautiful.
finish fixing greatsword?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check for starters.
15.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a regular sleight of hand check.
And 11.
11. Now give me performance with disadvantage.
Oh. 12.
12. You kind of get it all apart and you're looking at it. You have enough parts to get it back together again, but you're missing the one part you need most. You cannot find the right size firing pin for broadsword.
Oh.
All the firing pins here are either for the heavy machine gun, handguns, or the small automatic, semi-automatic rifles that you have in the gun locker, but nothing that will get broadsword back together again. The firing pin's just too big, and you can't find a match for it. The current firing pin, however, is bent at a 12-degree angle from the jam and explosion of the gun.
Can I try to unbend it?
How would you like to try to do that?
Just use strength to unbend it. I don't know.
I see him doing this.
Okay.
Or I see he's in a different part of the truck.
No, you guys are all in this very cramped truck. I mean, it's decent size, but you know, got to make do with
You're
the
in
size.
cabin together.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are all in
You
this
need
back
to melt
space.
it a little bit.
So
Just
as
fires.
I see him starting to manhandle this,
Okay.
I'm gonna and cast mending.
Oh, yo.
Damn!
So, Calamex, what's your...
Bends it straight back into
I
perfect
don't. I'm gonna try and do it semi-discreetly.
So,
but
Caldev, give me a deception check. Or no, give me sleight of hand. Calamex, go ahead and give me...
coming through.
Calamex, give me your athletics check.
19.
Okay.
God.
Got a
Okay.
natural one.
Okay.
Oh no.
He thinks he's awesome.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't see a thing. You just see him struggling with it, and then all of a sudden it just goes back fine. So you obviously fixed it.
I look at it and go, good. This is good. And I put it in the gun.
You start reassembling the broadsword. Takes you about 3 or 4 minutes to reassemble it, but broadsword is back together. And there's a series of ammo drums here for it.
I go over to Random, and I kind of put it in his lap, and I say, I believe this is yours.
Random, a repaired broadsword or greatsword is now in your lap.
You're an absolute saint, dog.
Yep. And I go up to fix the gun now. The big gun.
The big gun. You go to try to clear the jam. It's going to take a few minutes, but between you and Kaldov, you managed to clear the jam. It's getting harder to get to the center of the ruined town as hundreds of people are swarming and ambling into this position and into this location. Random, you have a choice to make. Drive through them, around them, avoid them. And each time you guys get near them, they shred into these creatures but bounce harmlessly off the truck as you have this bubble of protection around you now.
Through.
Yeah. As they get closer, I'll just drive through. And if things get really hairy, can I press the? I'm gonna look around and press the blue button. If things are getting super hairy on the car.
What does that mean?
Okay. Did you
Oh, a lot of us
did
go
you
in
actually
blue.
find out what those buttons do, or?
Yeah.
And what was the blue button? What did that one do?
It provides me with a shield.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that's nifty.
as you get deeper into the mass of these creatures being shredded, the closer you get to the gate, you slam on the blue button. This creates this kind of almost like a rebound effect, and these creatures are just between the psychic protection and now the shield protection that thinly veils the armored car. You're plowing through dozens of individuals that shred, turn into these creatures, and then dissipate off the sides. You guys are finally now within about 30 feet of the center of what used to be the Thinville. You can see the ruined foundations of all the buildings. You can see vehicles tossed up and twisted. You can see that it's just a landscape of destruction all around this 30-foot radius effect of this portal that is just directly in front of you, emanating with psychic energy that's pulsing out and bouncing harmlessly off the vehicle. You're about 30, 40 feet away from it. What do you guys want to do?
As we get closer, I'm going to do another and cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay. And that spell that you learned does require concentration.
The
So you can't do mage armor. On
the
top?
psychic
Hey.
defense.
Yeah.
Well, Mage Armor doesn't require concentration.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It just lasts 8 hours.
Yeah, I just realized you're multicasting. I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah,
it was
so no, then
concentration.
if I knew that it requires concentration to maintain the bubble around us,
Correct.
then I won't cast Mage Armor until after I've completed the concentration period.
Okay.
Can I grab? I see the situation we're going into. I would like to grab a machine gun from the locker.
There's at least one light machine gun in the locker.
I take that out for myself, and I kind of grab some other guns out for the other people who I've noticed don't use guns. So I give one to Kaldov, a pistol to Kaldov, a pistol to Kiki, and McAllen. I look at him and I go, "You might need more than a pistol in this one, bud." And I give him a submachine gun that I pulled out.
Okay.
Oh, SFG.
On
Wait, so
the
you gave me a
submachine gun,
pistol?
Yeah,
there's
you guys cast magic. He does not.
on the submachine gun. There's like there's masking tape, and in Sharpie it's written "Great Axe." It's not quite engraved, but
And once again, it's more of a light machine gun.
oh, okay. It just says hand axe.
Fair enough.
Are we at the center yet?
You're about 40
Or-
feet away from the portal, the gate. And now you can see people stepping into it, and they just shred
no.
as they step into it. And there's a psychic kind of pulse each time they step in.
We need to drive right in front of it so that there's that barrier and they can't get closer to it.
What if
So
they push our vehicle into it?
No, there's that shield. I don't think
That
they
doesn't
can.
mean they can't push it. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that
are-
just means they can't penetrate it.
Yeah, can they
Okay.
push on this shield?
They're bouncing off the vehicle. You could feel them like move around it and bounce off of it. It's just the
I'm
shield's
gonna
kind of
keep-
just a little added protection.
It's just like a ball.
Okay.
Like they could like touch it and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
But that's only while I keep concentration, right? The resistance and the immunity last after I
Okay.
break concentration because those are up to an hour, right?
It
No,
lasts
keep
up.
on-
the bubbles from
Oh,
from
the
the blue
bubbles from
button.
his truck thing. the
You're
blue
right.
button. Cool.
Can
Okay.
I try to like with my eyes just look around and try to analyze if my satellites are working, try to find where the the fail safe
You got this.
Sail face.
fail safe is. So I'm just gonna scan the area with my
face.
sail face.
Actually, your ocular eye focuses in. Go ahead and give me perception with advantage. Because you do have the network's basic description that
Okay.
might help.
Okay, cool. Okay, let me see. Perception. 21.
Okay. At the very base of the portal, you can see about 30 or 40 bundles of dynamite. Off to the right, leaning slightly against a rock, you can see what looks like a plunger, a device used to set off said dynamite. It would seem their failsafe was simply to blow up the portal and cause it to implode on itself.
Okay, I'm gonna use Mage Hand on the plunger and do that, and then just say drive away now. With the Mage Hand on the plunger, blow that shit up.
I drive away.
Truck spins around. All of the creatures and people walking towards the gate suddenly turn to look at the truck, and you watch as the mage hand forms on top of the plunger, and then you watch as everybody is immediately shredded out of existence, and you watch as this huge, monstrous hand plunges out of the portal as it's making an attempt to grab onto the truck, the mage hand, just before it gets out of range, as about 1,000 sticks of dynamite go off, not more than
As the hand
100
tries to pull
feet
out.
behind you.
As the hand tries to pull out, I just get on the machine gun and just let in
Just
blast
rip.
towards the hand.
Everything that you guys hear is explosions going off. A rip of heavy machine gun fire, a blinding light, and then nothing. Darkness. The truck lifted up in the air by about 100 feet with this wave of explosion of the collapsed portal. You could see shredded individuals. You could see a hole and ruin just forming all around you. The truck crashing to the ground as all of you lose consciousness instantly.
What psychic damage resistance for you?
Yeah.
Well, 1,006 of dynamite that's a lot. And
Yeah.
you guys were pretty
Yeah.
close. Caldov, in your unconscious state, there
Look at Richard.
in your unconscious state, Caldov, it is the most serene environment around you. It reminds you a little bit of the old world of Toril, where it's this amazing forest. all around you. Some familiar Fey-like trappings as well. You can hear water, like a stream nearby. So you can hear the trickling of water over stones. And sitting on a rock is Jane Austen. She's sitting
A little
there.
out of place here.
She's sitting there reading a book, writing in it, and she just kind of looks down at a book and closes it and looks at you and goes, "Well, it would seem we're in a bit of a pickle, dear."
Yeah. A
I'm
little
not,
bit.
I'm not sure if we're dead or not. Do you think we're dead?
We probably wouldn't be able to be talking if we were.
Well, why not? I'm in your head, am I not?
Yeah, but if I was dead, I wouldn't be in my head.
Oh, well, you know what? That's a very interesting point now that you think of it that way. Well, this is what I think. And then suddenly, the vision warps, and all you hear is someone yell, "Clear!" And you feel these paddles on your chest. You feel this pulse of energy just kind of course through your body. Your eyes flare open, and you're in some kind of tent. You're not really sure where you are. On gurneys on either side of you, you can see the form of Random, McAllen, Kiki, and Calamex lying down on these gurneys. They don't seem to be moving. The doctor and two nurses above you have this device wired to this like crystalline apparatus. Gnomes are moving about this area. They seem to be trying to treat the others as best as they can. Meanwhile, other gurneys by the dozens are being brought into this place, and the familiar German woman kind of steps up alongside you, and she looks down at you. "Kadov, are you with us? Can you hear us?"
Don't need another shot.
"Dear, I need you to hold still, please. Do not move." And as you look over, you realize your left arm is gone.
What the fuck?
And you can see a gnome is currently working on this jagged edge of meat and bone that was your arm, and he seems to be attaching a metal plate to it. He's injecting you with syringes. You watch as two more gnomes come over, and the one gnome kind of like whispers something to the German lady, and the German lady looks at you. "Dear, we're going to need to put you out for a few more minutes, but we are glad you're back. Please, do not die." And you just drift off into sleep. McAllen, you wake with a start. As you wake, there are two sets of hands in your chest. One of them is holding your heart, and there's a series of copper wires attached to it, and they seem to be bringing your heart back. You watch as your heart suddenly starts pulsing, and then it gets put back into your chest. The gnomes begin to bring these cathodes and other devices up around you. You feel these leather strappings come across your chest. Looking down, like you're kind of looking down at this, and as you look, you realize that there's nothing from the waist down. Your legs gone. Your arms are still there. They're a little bit ragged, but your legs are gone. You watch as these gnomes are doing their best to put these metal plates on you. They're cauterizing your wounds. They're hooking you up to wires, and you feel a familiar hand on your shoulder as the German woman looks down at you and goes, "Ah, you are still with us as well, McAllen. This is good. Hold on, dear. Do not die." And you lose consciousness yet again. Random, you come back to consciousness, but only briefly. As you do, there is no one particularly working on you. You can hear the German lady's voice. "It is too bad this one could not live. We did our best." And you sit up, and then the gnomes, and they're all like startled, and they turn to look at you. And they start waving at people to come over, and there's a mad rush of individuals coming over to you, laying you back down. And as you lay back down, you feel like this liquidy, squishy sensation as you lay back down. You realize that from your shoulders down to the bottom of your ankles. Your skin has been flayed away. It's just meat, vessel, and bone exposed, and you slip off into
Wait,
unconsciousness.
Before I go, can I just grab one and say, "Keep me natural, no machine."
One of them jabs.
No, that's not possible, dude.
One of them
That's
jams
not
a
gonna
cigarette
happen.
in your mouth, and the gnome goes, "You're supposed to be dead, but good fucking luck, buddy." And you,
That's not gonna happen,
you
dude.
conk out.
Natural.
That's not gonna happen.
Calamex, you are shredded, completely shredded. The skin that would normally hide a majority of what you look like has been eviscerated, gone. The whole true color of yourself is now huge patchworks of your body. The German lady comes over, puts her hand on your shoulder. It would seem that you are the one that would fare the best. I find it interesting that someone so old, with so much capability, well, we'll have to talk when the others recover. However, you seem to be okay, Calamex. Could you help us, please? There are hundreds of injured and wounded.
He tries to sit up, and you hear like all the bones crack at once as he lets out this. Get me a doctor's coat.
And they pull you off the gurney, hand you a small red vial of liquid. You get 21 hit points back. You were at 1 hit point.
I just imagine Calamex being like incredibly buff and stuff because you said he's shredded.
I mean, he is pretty big.
But he hides
He's like
it.
got like great muscle definition and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
like-
but he
like
hides it.
bodybuilder
He does a
status.
really good job of doing his
4%
best to
body
look
fat.
very like casual, not
Baggy
he's
sweater.
always
Not
hiding.
just straight
He's
yoked.
always hiding out in plain sight to a certain degree. So Calamex, as you get off this gurney, you look over to see where Kiki Lee is currently lying unconscious. You can see that the right half of her head is mostly gone, and you can see where the ocular implant is dimmed, and you can see all the metal and wiring apparatus. None of it looks familiar to you. This looks like something. I mean, this looks like something out of the science fiction books that you occasionally read when you're at the
I'm just
library.
imagining she looks like the Terminator.
What is this? Yes, very Terminator-like.
Her long hair has been completely burnt away. It's just down to stubble. No hair is left. Most of her skin seems to have suffered 3rd-degree burns. Her left arm is fractured. Her left leg is nearly amputated from the hip down. It looks like she's going to require a lot of work to bring her back.
Kiki, it is first.
Okay.
As he goes and he looks for his bag and he goes,
Colin. I love that one.
he looks for his bag and he goes, oh. And then he looks towards the other doctor's supplies, grabs some gloves, puts it on. And he looks, she's like, where's my team?
And you immediately watch as a series of nurses and other specialists come over. A couple of the gnomes. You also watch as an elf commingled in with the nurses comes over. You have a team of about 6 to help you.
I look at them and I say, we're going to need an engineer as well.
They kind of look at each other, and then another gnome comes over. I've never seen anything like that before, but I can try.
We're going to need a new, I tell him, like, basically the looks of what a plated face and, like, basically all needs for the internal skull for, like, the fractured parts of her skull that's gone.
I've got
And I
some
tell
of that.
him all the things that we need to build the new piece of skull for her.
I've got some of that prefabricated. Give me one moment. And he kind of like runs over to like a series of drawers and he starts pulling out bits of adamantine metal.
All right, good. I'm going to need your skill with electricity as well. And I go to work on Kiki.
Kiki, in your unconscious state, you're now currently going through the downloaded matrix portion of your reset feature. The protocols are that if you die, there can be no signs of you left over. The fission device implanted in your ocular rectal, the visional retina thing that's in your skull, is designed to take out about 20 square miles just in case.
Oh shit!
No signs and no remnants of you are allowed to be.
That's really bad.
And you're listening to the network begin to upload the final ticks of your memory banks of everything that happened up to the point, causing you to force yourself to relive those last moments. As the explosion went off and the portal collapsed, the two explosions unfortunately created an even larger explosion. And as it did, it shredded the truck. It took McAllen's legs. It took one of Caldov's arms. Took the backside of Random. However, it's the next thing that you see as part of the memory upload that has you perplexed. Suddenly, you watch as the truck itself just gets completely ripped apart as a very large draconic creature in full flight, full armor, full everything, manages to gather up everybody at the last minute, tuck them into the center of their chest, and then tumble with everybody under the very heat of this explosion. And this dragon takes virtually no harm, no damage, as it seems to have protected everybody from being incinerated. So this upload is going and going.
So it saved us.
And you watch as the upload continues. You look up in your unconscious state. You could feel the burn. The hair is gone. You could feel all the damage within your body. The diagnostic aspect of the network is now clicking and clicking and clicking. And it's with that you watch as the dragon turns back into Calamex. And then you fade into unconsciousness. As the last bit of the neural network is about to pull away the last of your memory, Calamex, give me an investigation check, please. With advantage, because you have a full team helping you.
I'm also going to guide myself if I can.
Okay.
And you said at advantage, correct?
Correct.
That's a 24.
24. The DC was a 22. As you begin to work on the ocular plant and you're trying to figure out what this thing is and you're trying to figure out how to bring her back, there's a tiny, tiny little black button behind the orb of the eye, and you accidentally click it, and a shock of light, like a shock of energy, pulses through Kiki, and Kiki's back into consciousness, screaming, sitting up, her face half just splayed open, and she suddenly the upload stops working. It immediately begins to re-download into the ocular implant. As you come back to consciousness, you're looking at a group of people working on you. And then you look over to see Calamex, and you just slip back into unconsciousness.
Oh, no.
On the third day, Random's the first one to wake up. You're fully
sitting. So I would like to be near my team.
Okay.
Like all these people that I'm supposed to be protecting.
Okay.
And keeping on. I would like to be near them. So I'm expecting they keep us all in the same room.
Yeah, I mean you're very well. It's in a massive series of ICU wards that have been set up in an ad hoc way. You're nearly exhausted. You've spent 3 days working on who knows how many people. The amount of destruction and damage was devastating, to say the least. You even took a moment at a break to realize that this massive tent that's been constructed was one of a dozen that was constructed as field hospitals. Looking beyond, all you can see is a crater a mile wide. There is no remnant of anything. It is just a massive crater that has just absorbed everything around it. And you did learn a couple things during this time. And you learned that the front line had stabilized after a bit of time. In fact, this particular effect has even caused a temporary truce between the two sides, as both sides were surprised by the dramatic effect of whatever happened. There's even rumors, as you're reading the newspaper, that a peace treaty is suddenly in the works and that emissaries are being sent to and across. You also stumble across a paragraph written at the bottom, and the German lady kind of looks down at you when you do this. Yes, that is my concern. We have but 3 days. Well, this would be the second day, 4 days. We have but 4 days left. As it describes how President Coolidge and his entourage are destined to host the emissaries from Mexico at his hunting lodge in the state of New Mexico, falling right in alignment with the attempted assassination on Coolidge.
I just look at my team and I go, well, let's hope that they wake up soon.
On the third day, as you're sitting there in a metal chair amongst all these gurneys of other people, including your team, Random's the first one to wake up. Random, when your eyes open up, you can see tubes of plasma stringing from your arms. You're wearing a very simple kind of medical gown, slippers on your feet. None of your possessions are on you at this time. You're not really sure where they are. Calimax, you look over to see Random suddenly awake.
You just hear like him laugh and say, somehow I just knew you'd be the first one.
How
Doc.
cute.
First, I'm gonna lift my shirt. I'm gonna lift the thing and look at my body.
From what you can see, you look fine until you begin to look at the point to where your back begins. You can feel metallic edging along your rib cage, along the base of your spine, up by where your shoulder blades are. Calimex, you can see where Random is beginning to look at the adamantine plate that has been fused on his back to keep his spine from coming out.
I just look at him and I say, this is the best I could do. I know you said you didn't want anything.
No.
I know you didn't want any sort of augmentation, but this is the only way we could keep you walking.
It's okay, Doc. Definitely crying a little bit, but
So, however, you do gain a bonus with this effect. Random, your natural armor class is now 17, meaning you do not have to wear any kind of fabrications or other things. As long as you just wear regular clothes, you now have a natural armor class of 17.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
You also have the ability as a bonus action to do a bonus action called Turn Your Back. And if you face your back towards an opponent that is attacking you, people hiding behind you get half cover.
Oh.
And that's a bonus action, and you can use it once per short rest. Kind of my version of Action Surge a little bit. Calimex, as you finish a conversation about a few minutes later, one of the gnomes comes over to you and goes, the one that lost her arm, she's waking up. You come over.
I walk over.
As you walk over, you can see the metallic arm resting in its own kind of like emplacement. You could see that it's fused to the metal plate that they attached to her. Caldev, as you kind of wake up, you look up to see Calimex staring down at you. You're still in a gurney. You're wearing very simple hospital like gown attire. You've got slippers on your feet.
I've done one thing to her arm so I could just make it useful for her.
Sure.
I would like to have augmented the arm so that she could open up different slots on the arm and put components for her magic inside. And then there's an arcane focus in the center of her hand.
Fair enough. And she does have some bionic control of it. The elbow still bends. The fingers still manage to click and clack with movement. It will not hinder her ability to be able to cast spells. The only challenge you have is, well, you're not exactly proficient in it, but there was one little caveat that the gnome left behind in the forearm section of it. And as you're starting to understand what's happened and you're looking at the amount of damage that you took, the gnome shows you how you can put your finger to the base of your thumb of your mechanical arm, and it creates a metallic shield from elbow to finger, allowing you to wield your arm as a shield, as a small shield. And because it's attached to your arm and your arm is part of your body, you're considered proficient with this. And this gives you the bonus of +2 to your armor class. It is definitely a strange sensation, though.
Aldo, be with me.
I am now a tragedy to my people.
I look at her and I say, at least you're a hero to the people around you.
You just keep looking at my arm.
I'm sorry that this is the best we could do.
After a few moments, McCallan wakes up. McCallan's augmentations go a little bit deeper. On the first day of his surgery, both Edison and Tesla showed up to take a look at the amount of damage. Edison brings one of Einstein's more advanced leg augmentations, and they spend an entire day doing a series of engineering and surgery routines on McCallan that you kind of get to watch Calamex. This is one of those teaching moments that you can't help but feel incredibly impressed by. Eventually,
Do I have
after
like spider legs like Darth Maul now?
well, what you have is very similar to what Yodam has. The only difference is these augmentations are pure metallic. There's no real way to hide them like Yodam was hiding them through his magical means. They give you the ability to walk. They give you the ability to run. However, your walking speed is now 60, and your run speed is now 120 feet.
Jeez.
You blister.
Wow.
You run. You haul ass when you
That's
run.
a lot.
It's going to take a few days to run some more tests.
Like I already had fast. So. Now it's even faster.
It's going to take some time to get used to it. You are going to have to take some time to relearn to walk. The synapses and the kind of like myomere way that they use to control the muscles and the response of your nervous system is rudimentary at best, but it does the job. You now have a pair of metal legs. Calamex, you're now hovering over McCallan as his eyes kind of flit open.
I look at him. I haven't really had many like face-to-face interactions with him, so I'm just looking at him, waiting for his response.
Sometimes, Doc, you wish you didn't make it through the other side. But here we are.
Sorry,
That
we couldn't do better.
Hey, we're all just trying to do our jobs. I appreciate anything you did. And I kind of just lie back and close my eyes again.
I say you should thank Edison and Einstein. He did way more than I could ever do. I think you'll like what you've gotten, even with what you've lost. And I just pat him on the chest.
I start snoring.
It's the end of the third day when Kiki finally wakes up. The neural network dump and repositioning of portions of the brain matter that were heavily damaged from the explosion required a little bit more time to recover.
I have a question.
Shoot.
During the time I'm unconscious, can I talk to Ragnar since I'm in my own brain, or no?
You can certainly try and give me a charisma save.
Ooh. Good. 19.
19. You get the feeling that your occasional conversations with Ragnar is what kept you alive, kept you distracted. Most of the conversation was him regaling you with notions of just how amazing death is. And don't worry about it. We're going to have a lot of mead, a lot of naked women or men, whatever your choice is. And he probably kept you stable to a certain degree. However, there was a point in your conversation with him when, just before you came into consciousness after suffering all the damage, there was this moment of kind of like physical connection with who Ragnar was. And for the first time in your unique life, you spent some time understanding what it's like to feel human. More importantly, Terran. You've always worn the facade. You've always worn the costume and the understanding of what it means. But just for the briefest of moments, Ragnar lets you truly understand what it means as you kind of look at your hands that are Ragnar's hands, breathing the air that Ragnar once used to breathe, feeling that visceral kind of violent nature in the human existence, as well as the kind of soft and understanding nature. And there's a kind of juxtapose between your understanding of the right and wrong of the world, and it all kind of momentarily blends. And your one good eye opens up, and you're staring up at Calamax, who's hovering over you. The ocular eye whirs with a bit of an unusual bit of loudness, as the right half of your head is now made of pure adamantanium. As your skull was rebuilt, the brain matter that was damaged, the network is still trying to mend it. You can feel the metal descend down into your clavicle, where a series of rudimentary kind of stitching and bolting kind of holds it in place.
That's a lot.
Your left arm is in a sling, but it's recovered quite nicely due to some of the more advanced magics capable of healing. Your leg, however, is still quite heavily injured, even with all the healing effect. The way that they had to reconstruct your hip is not perfect, but it worked well. The amount of damage that you sustained was pretty significant. The fact that you're still alive, and for that matter, Random is still alive, is quite a wonder. All of the medical personnel involved in bringing you back are now circled around you, Calamax kind of hovering over you as well.
So, because I now know that Calamax is the dragon that saved us all, I am going to embrace Calamax and kiss him and whisper in his ear, "Thank you, dragon."
He's not used to physical contact like that. He kind of takes you off and pushes you down, and he looks at you and says, I'm just Calamax.
You're a dragon, though. Thanks, dragon.
One of the gnomes plunges a syringe and she goes back to sleep. Well, she's obviously still crazy. We'll have to go in there and take a look.
No.
Am
I look
there?
at the gnome and I say, no, she's fine. She's just hallucinating. It happens
Ah.
after
Okay.
things like this.
Well, I'm sure she'll be fine then.
Just give her time to sleep.
So with that, everybody take a long rest.
Yay!
Can I have what, 3 points of exhaustion?
You can go ahead.
Three?
Yeah, you can discard all that. Let me check one
Would I?
other.
If I've been up working on people for 3 days straight.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you
I
already
would take the 3 points.
and you already expended your heroic action, right?
Yep.
So yeah, you still have 3 points of exhaustion then.
Yep.
You took short rest to avoid more, but you would still have your 3 points of exhaustion.
Okay. 3 points of exhaustion. What's that do?
Let me check one little note.
Disadvantage. Ooh. Oh, I have disadvantage on everything.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And everybody gets to level up tonight.
Woo! Okay, awesome.
So I believe everybody is now level 5.
Yeah.
The encounter at Thinville was a milestone, so we're good there. So roll those hit points, organize those dice, and then we will continue with the journey that you guys are currently on. And while they roll dice and figure out what they want to become, whether they want to become multi-classed or, save up money for those super heavy-duty machine guns that don't jam in 2 sessions in a row. Don't forget to hit all the about us's down below. Join our Discord. I will put that up again. We're still giving away dice and minis over in our Discord, including the player bundle for the end of summer celebration. So be sure to join and roll a D1000 for a chance to win.
D1000. My goodness.
And, watch other games and come play other games and come teach and come learn. Playing games is fun. Even if you're not playing D&D specifically, but playing something differently, it can still be lots of fun watching your players almost die because they detonated 1,000 sticks of dynamite in a psychic portal that led to some unknown place. But hey, that's okay. That's the way the
Not
dice
my
roll.
Not my fault.
100%.
Sure.
100%.
Actually, it's both her fault both times. I
washed
find that
my
interesting.
hands of this.
100% your fault, but you gotta own
Nope.
it.
No,
I love it. I respect the call.
I don't need your respect. I don't want it.
I respect the call. And 100%.
Now we're all druids.
No, we're
What do you
robots.
call- what do you call people who are half robot?
Androids.
Androids. We're all half-
Androids.
We're all druids now. Okay.
Androids.
Droids.
Half
You
of
meant
my
Androids.
soul is
droids.
adamantine.
She meant to
like
say
we're
we're all
Yeah.
droids. These are
No,
not the
we're
droids you're looking
androids.
for.
I'm the closest thing to a druid we had on the team.
Are we all?
Androids now.
We're robots. We're all robots.
I gotta go do all my spells.
I am Kiki. Do you notice how gorgeous I am? Look at my
Droids.
metal face.
This metal is imported from China.
So
That's
there,
a lot of
there's
things.
actually something you gained from this, Kiki.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, so you now are, because they had to rebuild your skull for all intents and purposes, and they use adamantine to do it.
Okay.
Your natural armor class is now a 19.
Dear, wow, that's really high for a wizard.
And you are now
Um,
immune to psychic.
Ooh.
Wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
19.
Guess you got access to 3rd level spells.
Woo! Immune to psychic. And
Ooh.
how do I edit
Ooh.
that?
I don't know, some guy.
That's amazing. Okay, honestly, as a wizard, your armor class is super weak. That's your crutch, right? So to have a 19 as an armor class as a wizard,
Assuming you're not fighting something with a +10 to hit, sure.
My standard armor class is a 12. If I cast mage armor, I get up to like a 15. So
yeah, like
19
okay,
is
wizards
impressive.
are
But
squishy.
you can
we all know that,
You can invoke the small shield on your arm now that gives you a +2 to your AC.
right?
Can I still do mage
Anyone-
armor with that?
Yes, you
'Cause
can.
That's woohoo!
So
I
you
get
could
up to
actually
17.
you could actually bonus action the shield
Um,
and then cast mage armor on top of the improved AC. So I think you can get up to 16 now, either 16 or
Wait.
17.
17.
can you
Yeah.
repeat that? I'm resistant to psychic.
You are immune,
Immune.
to psychic damage.
Immune. Okay, immunity is completely different. Because my head is like
Let's look at what
adamantine.
wizard spells I'm gonna take, guys.
That is
We need third level
awesome. Okay,
spells.
I need to. The thing is, I don't know how to make that in my D&D Beyond thing.
You just put it in your notes
Oh.
for now and do it later.
Yeah, I'm putting it in my
Oh,
notes.
I know how to do it.
But
That's
that's
why-
pretty cool that 19 armor class. Like what the fuck?
Oh, you're gonna need it.
For armor classes. For wizard.
I have the lowest AC in the group now. Hooray!
You do? What's your AC?
16.
Mine's still 14. I don't know what you're talking about.
Low.
See, but you're also a monk that can move at the speed of light.
Pretty
You
much.
could run
can-
away and nobody could
I can
catch
move
you.
fast, but I can move
Okay.
really fast.
I'm blown away because I've never been a wizard class at 19 AC. That's insanity to me. Like AC for wizards are like 12, 11, you know? So I'm very
And
excited.
that depends
I'm
on
very excited.
what you do as a wizard. Be a tank wizard.
I'm an alien wizard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think, like, I've
Um,
done a barbarian with a class in wizard, but then you get like barbarian aspects, but you still have a low AC because you're meant to be hit.
Right.
Right.
uh,
But
wait, Jason,
Yes.
question now. Would I completely know that she's some foreign, alien body? No.
after
I mean, the
operating on her body,
only thing that's made you suspicious is that the technology of her Oculus Eye is completely unknown to you. And it's clearly more advanced than the shit that you've ever worked with. And
But she's
clearly
also-
more advanced.
Wouldn't she have different physiology though?
Not
No, I
necessarily.
took the
She
form-
was
I
was
took the form of
bio
Carbon-based
human.
life form.
essentially she was bioengineered for her role.
Mm.
It just
Right.
has really
So-
advanced engineering.
Yeah, so the thing is, when I came to Earth, I took the form of a natural human being. So I took the average Chinese person.
To classify what
Chinese
Teresa told
female.
me during the Zero session, I took on the form of the China.
Yeah. So I just took the form of the average Earthling, and China's huge. The average person is Chinese. You know? So
And
I
I'm
took
not
the
saying you're
form
wrong.
of-
I'm just wondering because of
Right,
how
so I-
much extensive work I would have done on.
So all Kiki did was
So
take the form
Calmex,
of
give
that-
me an insight check really quick.
Oh, I'm good at those. It's even higher now.
Yeah.
And I have advantage on everything, but I have disadvantage on everything as well. So it's a straight roll for me.
How exciting.
It's now +7. Yeah, I know. That's a 25.
25. There's
Yeah.
two things that kind of mark the situation for you. One is her insane ability to heal. That was definitely somewhat unnatural. You weren't prepared for how quickly she healed once the surgery was completed. And clearly the eye. And those two things definitely have you wondering about who and what she might be. Plus, somehow she maintained the memory of what you really are and what saved them at the last moment of the explosion.
I did maintain the memory of the dragon saving us, and I did
And considering the massive amount of brain
Plus-
trauma she suffered, it's strange. It's definitely
For her to
strange.
remember everything. I would do like the psych test when she wakes up fully and ask her questions for her memory.
Fair
So
enough.
when I did wake up, I did see you, and I did cusp your head in my hand and kiss you and say thank you for saving us.
True.
And the fact that I remembered that you saved us, you're like,
And called him a dragon.
So
But-
you said my form is messed up
Drag-
now, right?
Dragon.
Your
No.
the organic,
skin.
yeah, the skin that you'd been using to kind of help blend your true kind of organics with the disguise organics, you're gonna have to take some time to repair that.
I wouldn't have had time in the last few days.
Nope. So you're wearing a lot of clothing that does its best to hide it. A lot of surgical jackets and, clothing that you would need anyways. But there's some striations on your face that give off a little bit more of a glinty metal look than it used to.
Okay.
So, it has been an interesting day or day and a half. I mean, technically you guys have only been operating for less than a week at this point. We'll say on the morning of the 4th day of recovery, which puts us on the 5th day of intervening on this assassination attempt, all of you are gathered in the commissar and in the cafeteria area, along with other recovered individuals. The stories that you can hear people telling each other are interesting to say the least. But the 5 of you are sitting somewhat in pain, getting used to your new augmentations, the new physical changes of your body. By far, the 2 greatest physical changes are Macallan's legs and Kiki Lee's face. Her hair is still very short from it being burned away. Half of her skull is now metallic. But the 5 of you are sitting off to the side at your own table. And as you sit there kind of eating a meal, the German lady comes over. Well,
Oh,
it
yes,
seems...
ma'am.
It seems that all of you have managed to survive your first brush with, well, we're still analyzing, trying to understand whatever it was we were doing, but we have found out a few things. We
Miss
know...
Ma'am, did you intend for us to die?
Well, no, that was not our intent.
Why are you surprised we survived?
Well, because where the town was is a mile-wide crater. So,
There's a lot you guys are missing.
it's more of a conversation of physics, dear Kiki.
You know, you sent us into that.
Well, no, technically we sent you in there to retrieve our agents. That's mainly what we sent you into.
To die.
Have another muffin, dear. You're clearly very tired.
I don't like food. I only like caviar.
As I would know something like that, because she said things like this before.
Oh yeah,
I
she's
just
always
put like fancy food in front of her, and I say, just listen to what she has to say.
Yes, but I don't like muffins. I'm sorry.
I put caviar and I put a champagne glass in front of her.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will gladly devour this in my system. Thank you.
I lean towards Caldev and then say, is that a Chinese thing?
She's never been to China. No.
I love
her
muffins.
thing.
I think that's
I love
Random's way of
muffins.
saying all the newcomers look alike.
Muffins are delicious.
The undercover
I had a
racist.
muffin.
Undercover racist. That's hilarious.
The German lady looks at all of you. It's good that you can laugh at your pain. What we have discovered is that the American military, well, they had put together a special group that was attempting to maintain some magics that they weren't well prepared for. We have taken
Really?
over their information. We have decommissioned that unit, and we will be taking care of that and not allowing that to happen again. They should not be tampering with things that they do not understand. Just because the newcomers know how it works doesn't mean it all works the same way. And she kind of looks at Calamex and McAllen and Caldev when she says that.
Could I have asked her over the time that we were, everybody was knocked out, why the hell that happened to me? Because I haven't been able to do that for a very long time.
At some point, you two would have had a conversation about it. She's not entirely sure how or why, but she can tell you that the amount of psychic energy that was released from that explosion and the collapse of that gateway might have triggered some kind of primal kind of existence of your psyche, that maybe your species went in complete disarray, or maybe in complete, like, just last gasp need, that it triggered something in your genetics. It pulled something out of you that maybe you could control it, maybe you can't, but whatever this vessel was that caused you to hide from whatever you hid from, and the knowledge being lost on how to turn back into yourself, it's still there. It's buried under millennia of psychosis and protection wards, but this event triggered it somehow. And it's definitely psychic in nature that probably triggered it.
He just nods.
So, this still brings us to the inevitable challenge that we have. It would seem that there is no way for us to stop what is eventually going to attempt to happen. The question is, how do we put you in the right place at the right time? Even now, Coolidge and the others are at the lodge. The simulation is quite specific in this. The Mexican emissaries should arrive there on the morning of the 8th day. We know this through the scheduling understanding of what is going on. We are doing our best to understand how the Twisted Eye may get here, either through sneaking in with the emissaries coming from Mexico, or perhaps already sneaking into the lodge, or perhaps the great wasteland that's been created out there is exactly what they intended to create as a diversion to make their way into this area, or even perhaps create the situation itself. Because all of this has a single point of creation. That one goblin that we found and we brought back to our labs caused us to recruit all of you, caused you to do what you did. And no matter what we've attempted to do over these days, it would seem the inevitable conclusion is the attempted assassination on President Coolidge.
What if we take this into our hands and do whatever we can to protect him?
But Coolidge must not know that we are interfering. That's
What
difficulty.
about,
He doesn't need to know.
well, can't you? We have, I believe, McAllen. McAllen, did you tell us about your activity as the NSA, like, agent? Like, you becoming one or no?
I mean, for
nothing beyond like what you like necessarily needed to know.
Like, as far as you guys know, he's just a
No.
really renowned investigator.
Well, couldn't we use? McAllen's worked with many agencies, correct? Couldn't we use his disguise and say that we're working as his team, to maybe cause interference or maybe investigate even further from what the Secret Service aren't going to be able to get into? Nobody wants to talk to a government agent.
But the
Are
problem
you saying we should volunteer to be Calvin Coolidge's bodyguards?
No. Have us work specifically, maybe not for the special
Well,
what is it called? The Secret Service?
The
now?
agency.
well,
the people that
I
protect the
think the problem is, as much as we admire the connections that McKellen has made, these are exposures that we have spent a great deal of our efforts and monies on avoiding. We allow McKellen to do what he does because it benefits you as a team. His agency has no idea that we exist, and we intend to keep it that way. Our interference is both at a physical level as well as an existential level. I actually feel like our best option is to be like that which is seeking Coolidge. And you watch as she looks over at random. It would seem that the criminal element has many ways of getting in and out of places.
I have a few contexts that could help.
I feel like that may be our best option. It allows us to remain cloaked in our own understanding of who we are. See, Coolidge is the head of our council, but he is not aware of all the organizations and what they do, and we do that for a reason. He is also a member and the head of the Dreamer organization as well. They are not all aware of each other's doings and goings-ons as well. We practice a philosophy of cell mentality.
Discretion, basically.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we could use my organization to kind of help accomplish our goals. We are going to need some funding, though. And I assume that that's something you can provide.
This is something
Logistics and all.
we can definitely provide you with. However, we must keep it as minimalist as possible. Some of our technologies will give us away, so we will try to provide you with things that will be more inconspicuous, as they say.
Tech is good, but we just need cold, hard cash
I
to run
can.
things smoothly.
How much do you think you might need?
Well, based on the scope of work, I'd say a cool 10,000 would not be too bad.
Call it 20, just in case.
I try
five
my
for everyone.
hardest. I try my hardest not to smile.
I will have the cash brought to you as soon as we can arrange it.
That sounds good.
Well, I will have dossiers updated. I will have information updated. I will have your money put together for you. Is there any other equipment or material that any of you may need for this little adventure?
Well, we definitely need a new vehicle.
We are working on
Yeah.
that as we speak.
I'm sorry,
What
guys.
about?
I have to ask, what is our goal right now?
To save Coolidge.
Save Coolidge.
Save Coolidge. What if we just kidnap him ourselves and keep him with us?
Are you Weekend at Bernie's me? Are you Weekend at Bernie me right now?
I don't know what that is. That's after my time.
Oh,
You mean before your time?
I'm sorry.
Or I
That's
guess
after,
in this game it is after your time.
that's way after my time. I'm 1920s. I don't know what you're talking about.
I love you so
I
much.
think we need to take him with us and have him be our buddy.
And how
just-
do you suggest we kidnap the President of the United States?
See, this
Maybe
is
we
where
could entice him.
How about
We're gonna
we
need way
arrange?
more than $20,000 for that.
How about we arrange a diplomatic mission of some sorts?
That is an interesting thought. Maybe a pre-group that is designed to help with negotiations. A group that is part of the emissary group designed to show up on the 8th day you show up slightly earlier to kind of help prepare.
That would be a great way in. If anybody else has any other ideas, I'm all ears.
I mean, each
gets
of us
the
would
thread.
have a reason to be there. I mean, I don't like to really say I'm a very renowned doctor that from around the world, from around the
I
country.
don't really
Yes.
have a reason to be there other than to entice him to come with us.
Well, you could just say
And-
that you've been hired as a diplomatic liaison
I
from
could be a
the
escort.
China.
Under China.
I can be a Chinese escort
With
sure.
a metal skull.
Well, you could just disguise that.
Yes. Clearly,
She has abilities to cover that up.
I can cover it up.
I mean, people of these days do love their fancy hats.
You can get a wig.
So
Yes,
it
we
would
can entice
seem.
him to go on an adventure.
So
Could
it
I
would.
get an upgrade
Take him
of
with us.
greatsword by any chance?
I,
Can you have your engineers take a look at it?
I'm,
It keeps jamming. I don't know. It
Hmm.
seems poor design.
maybe you should get better dice. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow, that's very
What do dice have
personal.
anything to do with a gun? Is it
What
a
is
part of
this?
a gun?
Dice.
1920s. Lady Luck.
Just yes,
It's
I
a
will
dice
have.
powered gun.
I will have the Gnomeworks take a look at that for you. I'm sure that they can come up with improvements, perhaps. More
Thank you very
rounds, better chamber, better firing pin. These are things we could possibly do.
Yes.
Calamex looks down at his skin, and he has like scars that, you know, instead of having like scarring under it, it's the metal, like you said. It's that metal coloring. And he looks down and he goes, my garments were incinerated in the explosion.
I'll get you some garments.
I look at her and I say, mine were specially made for protection. And I look at the German lady. Is there any way I could get some sort of replacement?
I imagine that one of our alchemists could potentially help you with this. Theopold is pretty handy with the organics and the subcutaneous requirements of some of our more challenged agents. We'll seek him out.
I look at her. I look at her and I say, and is there never mind.
Could I also get whatever Kiki's having?
What I'm having? What do you mean?
I just pour out. I just put up a glass next to you, and I pour some more champagne into your cup.
All right.
Calamex is just giving me booze. And the thing is, personally, Kiki knows that Calamex turned into a dragon and saved all of our lives. So I'm just like,
He's yet to mention that, and he hasn't mentioned it to anybody at all.
I'm
but
literally eyeing a muffin trying to
Kiki
touch it to want to eat it.
is perplexed. And
Well, yeah, with your
I
new
am-
arm, it's kind of weird because it's like clunk, clunk. Your arm's like metallic and bangs on the table as you kind of, move the plate a little bit closer. You guys can hear the
And I've never
whirring.
had a muffin.
uh,
So, and like Kiki saying she hates them and then Random saying he loves them. I'm not sure if I should eat it or not.
all of you, like, you can hear McKellen, like, not even realize he's tapping his metallic feet underneath the table because he can't feel it, really. He can kind of feel pressure, but he doesn't have, like, the feeling of sensitivity like he used to have before. Kiki, you kind of absentmindedly kind of play at the metal plate on your right side of your head. The amount of upload and download visuals is getting you caught up to date on the last 3-4 days that you've been unconscious. All of you, it's now the morning of the 4th day of recovery, the 5th day prior to the 2 days until Coolidge assassination attempt. Seems you have the beginnings of a plan. It's mid-morning. You've finished your breakfast. You're mostly recovered. What would you guys like to do?
We need to get to Coolidge. But I'm gonna go talk to Calamex and again thank him for saving all of our lives.
I
I
look
didn't-
at her and as she says this, I just kind of, I just put my finger over my mouth as she starts saying anything and goes, "You don't need to apologize. You don't need to thank me anymore.
I will shush.
I've done."
I will shush his mouth.
It's more like
and
this.
say,
You gotta
You
like
don't-
reach
You
up.
don't need to say anything.
Be cool for
I
2
am
seconds.
grateful.
It's like Team America. Her finger completely misses your face.
Be real
Okay.
cool for 2 seconds.
I'm grateful, and I know that you are actually a dragon, which is super cool. But yeah, it's okay.
No, I'm not. And he just kind of walks away from that.
Random.
He just tries to get as far away from her as possible.
I'm also following
And she'll
Calamex.
follow.
Not for that.
She's gonna follow him. She doesn't give a fuck. She's gonna follow him
No,
and be
yeah.
like, "Why are you running away?"
So
Never
I do
mind.
love that. I do love that. Like most of us, I think the three of us, we were like just deeply disappointed by the changes. I like the healing we received. It was all like,
Like, oh.
this sucks.
My
So I
kind of
did-
race of people is anti-machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
I
like
know.
machines. I don't want that crap on my body.
Well, for Kiki, she's
She's already machine.
I know. she's,
yeah,
like,
no,
fine.
she's a bubble
It's like normal.
in her world. So like any physical form is weird. So a machine is no different than a biological human body. It's the same thing.
So,
So can you tell me how much champagne Kiki had this morning?
Like 4 or 5 glasses.
0. No. Like 2
I was-
small glasses.
she's,
Not very much.
she's got like the big gulp
Just like
in front of her.
Kiki's not
with the
used
long
to this
straw.
form anyway.
Can't drink champagne through a straw.
You can
Physical
certainly
form
try.
is very strange.
So, each one of you can spend the remainder of this day trying to figure out what to do next. There's a series of things that happen, though, during this part of the morning. McCallan, you eventually get a dossier delivered to you of most of the details that occurred at the gateway. You now have the name of the organization that was involved. A particular general, a general that goes by the name of McClintock, was the head of the organization that was attempting to utilize that portal. The particular agency that was involved was called the Atomic Agency. With that random, you reach out to some of your individuals out in the greater world. You receive information, maps, and other understanding of the valley, the area where the lodge is located. You're given at least 2 smuggling routes in and out of the valley that no one seems to know anything about. You're also made aware that there is a system of caverns and caves located directly underneath this valley that could possibly either be utilized or play a part in the overall situation. Calamex, you seek out Theopold. Theopold hands you a kind of like epidermal kit. And he explains to you that if you put this in the areas of your organics that were damaged, they will eventually grow back, but they may look slightly different. They may not have that same aged hue, but it will cover up the metallic nature of your skin. Kiki, a program is downloaded into your ocular. A permanent illusion of your face is now in place that you can control and take away or put up whenever you want to with a single touch of a button behind your jawline. As the network does not necessarily want you walking around with a metal head.
Right.
Caldev,
So I can
you are now
control my physical
proficient
appearance?
in the spell Psychic Resistance. Sorry, go ahead, Kiki.
So I can control my physical appearance?
Of your face, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And you can either maintain the original look that you had or shift it, however you want to. It basically gives you like a projected illusion of your face. If someone were to
Okay,
touch
thank
you,
you.
their hand would go through the illusion, but at least physically it would allow you to appear,
Right.
uninjured and unaugmented.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Thanks.
As all of you gather up in the lower sections of being back in the Unity headquarters, back in a familiar garage, and as you come into this garage, there are a lot of different vehicles all over the place. It's this one particular vehicle that they point at, and they go, well, we kind of figured since you don't want to be seen, that maybe this would be a better way of getting in and out of the valley if you choose to use it. And then one of the other gnomes, I still don't think it works very well, but we'll give it a go. You say that about everything that we do. Why can't you just be positive? Okay, I'm positive I don't think it's going to work very well. Anyways, the gnomes all kind of swarm and they pull the tarpaulin off of it, and you're looking at the weirdest plane that you've ever seen. It's got 2 sets of wings, so it's definitely a biplane in appearance, but in between each sets of the wings are these massive engines. You can see wheels underneath it, a kind of simplistic tail, but everything is like a very thin kind of metal skin to it. Underneath the wings, you can see these massive machine gun barrels sticking out. You can see where they're ratcheting in belts of ammunition into the wings. You can see gasoline pods underneath. But the engines are strange. I mean, you kind of look at it and there's no distinct propeller. They're not actual propellers. As you get near to the engines, all of you hear a voice that's very unfamiliar. Ah, I see that you are liking the new engines that I've built. Hi, my name is Mr. Von Braun. It is a pleasure to meet all of you. We call these engines jets. And let me tell you, they help you go very fast. And that's where we're going to finish tonight, as it's getting to almost 10 o'clock. As we once again introduce another historical character into the mix. So, hey everybody, a lot happened tonight.
Yeah.
Exploded. People exploded.
Trucks blew up, gates collapsed, Cthulhu almost came through. The front,
Augmented.
yeah, it's just the typical things that happen in an alternate universe, in an alternate timeline, in an alternate reality. So, hey everybody, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. Everything you need to know about us is down below. Click, join us, come over to our Discord, have some fun. And with that, good night, everybody. Stay safe,
Bye.
be kind, and don't forget to play a game. It's important. You'll love it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.